Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. What a freaking week, man. What a freaking week. What a week for everyone, not just Brian Steele. Do I look super blurry to you? Am I blurry right now, or is it like my eyeballs? No, I look blurry. All right, guys, I got the new computer. So exciting, got the new computer, but now we're like working the tech into it and trying to get it set up and stuff. So if we're glitchy today, let me know what the glitches are so I can fix them, okay? Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad y'all are here. Let me move this. I've had a rough morning, too. It's just been a crazy, stupid day, guys. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am Lauren Cadillac, and I am an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I am a civil attorney, but I am a litigator. I practice mainly in the real estate arena, which is quite litigious. And I am therefore a courtroom attorney, but I am not a criminal defense attorney. I became interested in this young thug case because of the First Amendment rights issues, the First Amendment issues of using art, which is free speech. And man, has this been a case. I'm so glad I got into it. You know what's crazy, guys? You see these earrings? I had bought these like years ago. I never even had heard of YSL or anything. And it turns out that green is one of my favorite colors. Hey, John Cornyn, welcome to Paralegal. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who has been supporting the channel, everyone who has hit like, everyone who has hit subscribe, everyone who has watched, everyone who has sent money, who has joined our membership. Our members get cool things, or we're trying to make sure they get cool things. We're working on it. It's all work in progress, guys. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. I saw these earrings. I was like, oh, I gotta wear these. I gotta wear these. Oh, John, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. My God, what a wonderful gift. And look, Tall Glass was gifted one of those memberships. That's awesome. Thank you, John. Hey, Leaf Queen, good morning, everyone. All right, like y'all know, I love to get into the comments and all that, so I'll be there. I really appreciate everyone who's here this morning. So it turns out that green is like my second favorite color, with blue being my first. And I was like, you know, on Tuesday, I was so ready to go live again. I was sure there would be more drama, that I wore a green shirt and another pair of snake earrings that I've had for over 2 or 3 years. And we did. Luckily, nobody went to jail on Tuesday. So anyhow, I decided to wear these earrings and the green frames for y'all. So I'm glad you're all here. Thank you for the compliments. I really appreciate it. Everyone who supported us, thank you so much. Guys, this week, this week has been the longest year of my life. I cannot tell you how glad I am that my name is not Brian Steele, that I am not a short king in Fulton County, Georgia, defending people for a living. My goodness. That, ooh, y'all. Well, we were all here together on Monday. Thank you, everyone that came. I mean, as soon, a couple of you started messaging me, like, Steele's being, on Monday I was in a deposition. And it finished early, so I hopped over to check comments, and it was Steele this, Steele that. I said, oh my God. So I got on, I said, oh my God, and I got live. So a lot of you were here for that. I really, really appreciate it, and that was so intense. And we didn't even, you know, I had to go home. Remember I said I got to get in this car or else I'll never make it. And of course it took me hours and hours to get home. But once I got home, I turned it on, and I ran the trial for another 2 hours or so. You know, all that mess that happened after, which we're going to get into in a minute, that was really, really exciting and interesting. John says, Hilton is questioning her career path, embodiment of chaos. Man, I feel like all of us, even I am questioning my career path. I'm like, geez, I need this YouTube thing to work out, you guys. So, like, fudge, this is crazy. You know, I keep saying to you over and over, like, this is happening in courtrooms across America every day. This is no, we've crossed the threshold of, this is typical bullshit into, like, This is wild bullshit. Oh, I just made that surprise face, and it reminds me, my son was interested in what happened on Monday, and I had already fallen asleep by the time he got off of work. So he messaged me, but he ended up watching the live, and then he and I were talking on the phone, and he said it was really weird to watch the live because there were like micro expressions that I would make that he was used to seeing, you know, that he had seen growing up, but like he said it was really wild to see him, you know, like on YouTube, which is, it's gotta be kind of weird for the kids. Y'all pray for my children. Pray for my children, not just because of you know, me being on YouTube, but just because I'm their mom, really. Good morning, K-Way. Good morning, Tall Glass. Good morning, Seashell. Good morning, Sweet Lady Sugar. Good morning, D. Good morning, is this Ain Zuru? Ain Zuru? Hello, Alexis. Hello, Aha. Good morning, Chris. Oh, thanks for the compliments, y'all. Thank you so much. I got you guys. Okay. So, Sweet Lady Sugar wants to know about impeachment, so we will talk about that. What I think, oh, y'all, Tavonda sent me some items, and she says they're on the way. Tavonda, I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Thank you. Hello, Denia. So my son was like so impressed because he's like, you had 1,800 people on your stream, and I was like, yeah, I did, thanks. And he's like, and then you addressed their comments like a real streamer, and I was like, oh, thanks, kid. So again, I am forever indebted to y'all for making me cool in the eyes of at least one of my children. At least for a few minutes. You guys are amazing, so thank you. Leaf Queen, welcome. Oh, you discovered me last night. Well, I'm so glad you got to make it to the live. Okay, so let's talking about the meet and greet is a perfect segue into talking about Monday evening. All right, so currently we have planned that I will be at the courthouse on April 13th. Then in the evening we will have a meet and greet event for those of you, you know, who have jobs, can't come to courthouse and hang out. Totally understandable. We'll do a meet and greet in the evening, and then on the 14th I'll do all day before my flight in the courthouse, just observing. Reason being, the reason I decided to do it is I really just want to see and feel. I just want to like feel the energy, or at least I did. I did before Monday. So everything I purchased, like everything I got, is completely reversible. So it's movable, reversible, because as y'all know, as we all know, it's a crapshoot one day to the next if they'll actually be in court, right? I scheduled for a Tuesday because I figured that is the more, I calculated that's a more likely day they'd be in court. But you know, they're canceling court all the time. And y'all, after Monday, oh my God. Oh my God. Gigi says she heard Hilton was crying in court. I heard that too, but y'all, I cried on Wednesday also in court. So someone crying, especially like a woman lawyer crying in, around, near the courtroom, or at the courthouse, that is so common. That's like really, really common. And often doesn't have anything to do with like the case, or maybe it does. Like on Wednesday, I cried because I was at a hearing, and there had been a mother who had sons that are the exact same age as my son, and she had passed away. Y'all, I just couldn't handle it. I mean, I handled it relatively well in the courtroom. Like, you know, my eyes got welled up, and I didn't like drop down actual tears. But after I got off court, that's when I called my son, and I called him sobbing. No, I'm so glad that I'm not dead yet. Oh my God. Oh man. Okay, you guys, I hope, Denia says she has her babysitter ready. I mean, I'm hoping that I can make it on the 13th, but man, after this Monday evening fiasco, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know if Miss Hilton just had a baby. If she did, this is a horrible situation to be in. Look, if she was crying, it just could be because she's tired and stressed, y'all. If I had to sit next to Miss Love doing the perpetual poking and handing and of the notes, I'd cry too. I'd cry because I couldn't stab her. You know, sometimes that's why I'm crying. Leaf Queen, thanks for joining the club. Welcome to the paralegal membership. Thank you. So very well, Hilton could just be mad as shit that she has to sit next to Love, who's constantly, oh, do this. And I've got some good clips for that coming up from yesterday and the day before. All right, so let's get back to Monday. Monday was cray. Go cray. Okay. Oh my God. It was like, what am I even witnessing? All right, so I'm not going to recap everything we did together because we were together, and y'all can go to that video from Monday, okay? What I'm going to get into is what we didn't see together because I had to drive home, and this shit went so late into the night. I mean, they were there until like 7:30 or 8 p.m. their time. Which I'm sure the prisoners loved. Like, I'm sure the defendants were like, thank God, right? Like, we get to be here until 8 o'clock. But OMG, I know. I mean, come on. If I was Miss Hilton, I'd be crying too. Like, it's 8 o'clock. I want to go home. All right. So what happens is YSL steals Brian Love. Jesus. Forgive me, Lord, for combining those names. Okay, so YSL steal, while all of this crap was going on in the afternoon, he called his wife, obviously, and she submitted a notice of appeal right away. I believe that she was probably the one that called the defense bar, right? But basically, a call was made to the criminal defense bar of Fulton County, and 25 attorneys showed up. 25. One of which is this Ashley, oh shit, her last name starts with M, but it totally just, I don't remember it at all. Okay, so she'll introduce herself. We'll hear her name. Gosh, I forgot it. Anyhow, she's the one who, in the Trump trial, she is defending one of the Trump defendants, and she is the one who discovered the relationship between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. Okay. Someone said I should pronounce Fani, but I would say no, I'm not going to do that. I am in Texas. Instead of saying voir dire, which is what is supposed to be a French word, voir dire, we say voir dire. Okay? Instead of saying Daubert, we say Daubert. So we don't talk normal here in Texas. So when you spell something F-A-N-I, we're going to say Fanny. Okay? So that's how that's going to work. Okay? And, you know, really in Atlanta, they're not pronouncing things great either. They're saying screets and scrimp. And then my dude was showing me a video the other day about people in Baltimore. And, like, what was it? There's, like, 3 words in Baltimore that they say the same, but none of the words are, like, even remotely related. So, anyhow, this woman, Ashley Merchant, thanks, guys. You guys are the best. Ashley Merchant. I knew it started with an M. I am so bad at names. Like, I am so bad with names. So bad with names. It took me like 6 months to memorize my own daughter's name, and I named her. Okay, so bad at names. Okay, so we're gonna go now and watch Ashley, and we're gonna discuss all of the items happen, and then I'm gonna get into the post items that happened because of this contempt, and that's how we will lead into the visit to Atlanta. All right, so let's get into it.
Ashley Merchant.
Yeah, Ashley Merchant.
Ashley Merchant, yes.
Can we hear?
Right, Ashley Merchant is present.
All right.
Oh, they're not talking, so there's nothing to hear.
Ms. Merchant, good to see you as usual.
This is Monday. Here she comes.
I have told your client, you represent Mr. Steele, is that correct?
She has this pale pink jacket on. I mean, I just love it.
Contempt,
Coming to the courthouse looking like a Barbie. And then looking like a Barbie, and when the arguments come out, man.
Contempt earlier.
She's lawyer Barbie. That's great. I love it.
Him not telling me
I
who
love
he got this information from. I'm not asking him for any of the summons.
Oh God, he's talking, and we can't hear.
Substance of the communication. He's been
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Okay, remember, guys, I said this is my New computer. So we're working with new technology here. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm sure this is like old technology, but it's like new to me technology, okay?
However,
Crap.
and that's why I kind of
It's
want to
not
know
working out.
who told him that.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how to fix
Contempt. I've entered the order. I've entered the contempt already.
I don't know.
I'm
how to
entering the
fix
order.
it.
I'm about to enter the order. I have held him in contempt.
Okay, I see them talking, but I can't hear anything. So I can't even talk to you about what they're talking about. And I have no idea what the issue is. I'm so sorry. Like I said though, we started in the beginning. What did I earlier? So I don't know what's happening now. Hopefully. Hi Ty, hi everyone, hi Candace, hi Gigi. All right, let's see if we got sound back. No, we have no sound back. I truly do not know how to resolve this problem. Okay, so it appears that y'all can hear the video, but I cannot. So I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what to do. If I can't hear it, we can't talk about it.
Is an untenable position.
Y'all have audio? That's
And Mr.
wild
Steele
that y'all can hear this and I cannot. John, thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate it. Alexis, it is a new Dell something or other. John says, I feel bad for Ashley. She was at the hearing against Wade and Willis, and they all had one day was a video feed of her chest region. Oh, come on. That's awful for her. That is just awful for her. Okay, so y'all can hear the sound. Tall Glass, you say you can't see them? Oh, yeah, because okay. All right, so I got them on the screen. My speakers say they're on. My volume says it's at 90. What does this little button say? Let's try that. I did it. I did it. I'm just proud that I resolved a computer problem. So, sorry, let me take a moment to... Good job, Lauren. All right, here we go. Now we're going to get into it. Here is Ashley Merchant, who I admire greatly. I mean, honestly, if criminals weren't involved, I would totally do criminal defense.
Everything a little bit more current than 1994.
Hasty is 94. Unfortunately, contempt of attorneys is not a common proceeding. So.
Okay, so first she starts to give him some case law, and it comes out of 94. And he asks, do you have anything sooner than 94? Now her response is no, because attorney contempt is pretty rare. So obviously, as an attorney, I've been thinking about this and contemplating this since it happened. I have been in practice, I have been licensed for 13 years. I have been in practice for 8, but I have been part of the legal community in Dallas since 2011, so 13 years, yeah. And I've had lawyer friends, you know, since 08 when I guess 08, yeah, when I met people at law school who then graduated. So here's the thing, guys. In as long as I've been practicing, I have never heard of an attorney being put in jail in contempt. Not like at all in Texas that I've heard of. And I know I would have heard of it because it would have been a big deal and it would have been all over like the Texas lawyer groups on Facebook and such. So no, it hasn't happened. But Glenville, this guy, he's about to imprison Steele, and then he's made people buy lunches. He's put other people in jail. Didn't he like put a juror in jail at one point for contempt? I'm not sure. But this man is power happy. The reason there's no case law dating back, between 94 and 2024 is because judges don't put lawyers in jail for contempt. It's been 30 years, Judge. That's why the case law is old, because it's ridiculous and it rarely ever happens. Our clients have a constitutional right to us to present their case, you know, and even if the judge doesn't like it, we're usually allowed to at least do it. All right, sorry, I will continue without interruption.
Most of the cases are a little bit older. But I do have other cases. And Judge, I'm not the only one here. There's quite a few other lawyers that want to be present in the court. There's about 20, 25.
The challenge is I have space allocations, as I told you. So
Okay, look, she looks
you
around.
can, like I said, since you were representing, that's fine. He told us, Mr. Steele told us that. Anybody else, because I have security concerns as well, and we have to vet people to come
Security
in,
concerns.
then they can go to 8H, and they can certainly watch the proceedings from there.
Okay. And Judge, for security purposes, they're all attorneys. They're all members of the bar.
They're
I can
attorneys.
give you all their
You
names.
still would have to be
There's no security concern. They're members of the bar. They're officers of the court. Like, let them in.
searched and still would have to be subject to the court's protocols.
And also, there's room in the jury box, and then there's room in the courtroom, so we would ask that they be
I
allowed to.
don't want them in my jury box, okay?
There's room in the jury box and in the courtroom. Now comes the truth. I don't want them in the jury box.
No.
I understand.
Welcome, Brecca, to Paralegal. Welcome to the membership, and thank you so much for joining.
May one additional attorney come in, then Alex Susser. And we're here on behalf of Gactel for our strike force. He is the chair of the strike force. I'm the president of the Georgia Association of Criminal Defense
Strike
Lawyers
force.
and also a member of the strike force.
Strike force, y'all. The strike force. Like, that's some serious shit. The strike force showed up. The strike force. But also, this bar group has a strike force. Like, I really don't think that practicing in Dallas is bad enough that any of our bar associations have strike forces. Like, I've never heard of that, right? Like, when I heard her say he's part of the strike force, I said, oh shit. Not the strike force. But that just tells me, like, that this is not the first time kind of weird shit has gone down in Fulton County, okay? Like, the fact they have a strike force should tell you everything you're needing to know, okay?
So can he come in as another attorney co-counsel?
Yeah, I certainly may, sure.
Great.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Alex Susor. Thank you, Judge.
Henry Adams, it has two issues. One is the motion for disqualification. Okay.
Okay, secondly, I've learned something about Atlanta. You want a good lawyer, you find a white dude with a ponytail. Okay, a balding white man with a ponytail. This guy is about to really kick some butt. And, you know, I'm really sad because it appears YSL Ponytail, aka Bruce Harvey, has not been there all week. I would have loved to see what Harvey had to say about this contempt and arrest of Steele. Oh my God, I would pay good money to have seen that. So it's really too bad that he wasn't there. But we have a second ponytail white dude walking in, so we know it's about to go down.
And that's, and I think the judge went ahead and did some other things that caused there to be that issue presented. So I'm gonna take a look at the other case. That was in Adams. That was 215 Georgia 372. I'm gonna
Yes.
look at the other case just a second.
And there's several others when you're ready.
Oh no, I didn't know Weinstein did interviews. No, I'm serious about this balding man with the ponytail. These guys seem to be, like, for real, the legit thing in Fulton County, man. He's on the he's the head of the task force, y'all. Like, he means business. These bald ponytails mean business in Fulton County. Vamp, I do think Harvey is probably getting paid because it's him and 2 other lawyers that he employs, and I couldn't see him paying 2 other lawyers to sit in there without having received some compensation himself.
Yes. And maybe when I have too.
Here comes YSL Steele, coming to help defend himself. Y'all, I knew Steele was short, but I didn't realize how short he was until I saw him next to this Ashley lady, and I was like, dang, dude is really a short king, isn't he? I'm glad he found such a good wife in law school. Okay, come on, guys, quit chatting. Let's talk about it.
Without those being broadcast to other people, and as to how that information was disclosed, that's a real problem. That's why it's of such an issue for the court at this point in time.
Judge, and Mr. Steele has a right to make a motion like this. If there were experts,
he does. I'm not saying anything, but but he's kind of put himself in a particular position he's in.
No, Judge, I don't agree. I believe that.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I like how she says that. No, Judge, I don't agree. I like how she interacts with the judge. I like her.
That the court has put him in that position.
No.
He cannot be held in the law states. McClarty, which I cited to you earlier.
And it is true that direct summary contempt, which arises in the presence of the court, intends to scandalize it and or hinder, obstruct the orderly process of the administration of justice. The preservation of order and decorum of the court is exempt from due process requirements of notice and hearing. That's even Moody, goes back to 1974. So I believe that Mr. Steele's, he can file whatever motions, but his particular actions in this case, I just want to know who told him this. That's all. I'm not asking him to release or otherwise tell any conversations, but I just want him to tell me that.
And Judge, so that's what you want, but that does not conflate to a contempt. Your desire for him to answer your question does not mean that you have the power to hold him in contempt.
So you can come in
Boom. Just because you want him to answer a question doesn't mean you can hold him in contempt for not answering it. And on top of that, Steele read. Yeah, look, here's the thing. As lawyers, we have like a gazillion rules that we have to follow, right? You have the procedural rules of the courtroom. In Dallas and Texas, each court has its own rules. There are local rules in each county. There are rules of procedure, there are rules of evidence, and then there are the rules that govern our behavior, right? And those are our ethics rules. And we're required to follow those ethics rules, or else we could be sued by the government if someone creates a bar complaint, right? What the judge has asked Steele, or what Steele is saying the judge has asked him, is to give up information that is covered and not allowed to be given up under the rules of ethics. So if Steele complies with the judge's request, he violates the ethical requirements, and he opens himself to a lawsuit from the state bar. He opens himself to a grievance from his client. Now, Keith Adams had mentioned that before in the day when this started really going on, and we talked about it on our last video. But a judge cannot put a lawyer in that position. I mean, they can. Obviously, this judge did. They will at times, but they're not supposed to, right? An attorney has a right to zealously advocate for their clients. An attorney also needs to follow the ethics rules. So you can't, as a judge, order me to break an ethics rule. And that's really what Glenville did. So.
Court, Mr. Merton, and not answer a question of the court and not be held in contempt?
If it's a question that the court is not permitted to ask, yes.
Okay.
Okay, wait, my nose.
This is a question the court's permitted to ask.
And it's our position, if we had a hearing, we could explain to the court why he is not required. First of all, the court accused him of eavesdropping. That is a crime. He has a Fifth Amendment privilege against answering those questions. Rule 1.6 protects all confidential information that is gained not from your client, but in representation of your client.
Boom.
He has the
There's
ability to
ethical.
protect that information.
That's an ethical rule, right? He has the ability to protect that information. And the judge did say the only way you could have found out about this is if you were eavesdropping or someone told you. So if the judge is accusing him of eavesdropping, that is in fact a crime. You are in fact on the record, and now you are being accused by a judge of a crime. Kind of a big deal, right?
But we don't even need to get there, because he can't be held in contempt, and you can't threaten him with contempt for presenting a motion in good faith. He presented a motion in good faith that he believed there were ex parte communications. You are a witness to that, because it's my understanding that you were part of those ex parte communications. They can't be ex parte if you weren't part of them.
Okay, so she's saying like a whole other judge needs to rule on this, because you are a witness to the ex parte conversation that needs to be heard, so we can know if Steele is in fact in contempt. And guess what? I'm gonna a little bit of a what, I forgot what it's called. When I tell you the plot before it happens, the Supreme Court is gonna be reviewing it. We're gonna get there in a bit. But she is asking that another judge be able to review this judge's conduct, because this judge and the prosecutors are in fact witnesses. Now, while she says this, remember what she's just saying, look at Attorney Love. This woman had been staring at her computer, not doing her usual head nod and aggressive, whatever it is. Gosh, she drives me nuts. She is now, look where her hand is. She wants to hop in. She's trying to get in on the mic. Remember on Friday when we watched her literally push someone out of the way of the stand? Look at her now.
By nature.
Okay.
And you have to be involved. Therefore, you have to be a witness. So you are a witness. You cannot also.
But you got the information. But here's the thing: you got the information allegedly from an improper methodology. I'm not saying that he eavesdropped. Okay, I said that one of the things is it's either one of two ways. He either eavesdropped, which I don't believe he did at all. I don't believe that for a minute. But I do believe that somebody did tell him what was the sum and substance of.
Okay. On that note, let's talk about that. You might recall on Friday, Woody was called to the stand. Lil Woooodie. Okay. On Friday, Lil Woooodie had a white dude lawyer show up for him. And that white dude lawyer made it very clear to the court that he was going on vacation on Monday. He would not be at court. He would not be able to be there. But white dude lawyer, now that's the same white dude lawyer that Miss Love pushed out of the way of the stand. She accused him of malpractice first, of course. She accused him of all this wrongdoing first, then pushes him with her, literally her butt, pushes him out of the way of the podium. So white dude says, I'm not coming back. All right. So instead, white dude sent Buckus, I think was her name, who we're going to see in it. A few days, or in the recordings, we'll get to her. Okay, so whenever I fill in for another lawyer, we pretend this jar of items is my cell phone. If I'm filling in for another attorney, right, I'm going into court for them. Any minute we have downtime, I'm texting. We just did this. This went bad. That defense attorney's a piece of shit. Whatever it is, right? One day I did an attorney voir dire. I'm sorry, not an attorney voir dire. I did a voir dire of a jury. I picked a jury for a friend. I must have texted him 50 times. Every time another lawyer said something, I was texting him. Oh my God, they said this. Oh, you need to remember this. Oh, right? I'm a sub for you. This is your client. You need to know what's going on. I really don't care. I'm really mainly, protecting their rights, and I'm protecting the record, but I really am just kind of like updating the lawyer, right? I'm here mainly just as a fill-in to kind of update you. So, what do you bet? Now, this is speculation, y'all. We have talked about speculation. This is just speculation. But what do you bet white dude lawyer got texted by Bumkiss updates? She texts him updates. She's sitting in the room. Dude, we're in an ex parte. Dude, I don't understand. Defense isn't here. Dude, now they're talking about this. Dude, what the hell? Da-da-da-da-da. Now, if I'm white dude lawyer and I'm receiving updates like that from Miss Bumkiss, I'm calling my friends on the defense counsels and going, dude, they're having a whole meeting without you. Do you know what's going on in there? I was just told da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going to go further. I'm going to go a step further. I would argue that any attorney that is part of an illegal ex parte communication, like this one very well may have been, we don't know because we don't have the transcript, but any attorney who's part of an illegal ex parte communication, I would argue has a duty to tell the parties that weren't invited that it happened. I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't read the case law, but if I were in that position, I would feel I have a legal ethical duty to tell them. Because when the government is shitting on the Constitution in a way that is detrimental to someone's client, I believe they should have the right to know. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe I'd end up going to jail for it. I don't know. I don't practice in criminal court, and none of the judges in Dallas County would ever have an ex parte meeting like that. Ever. Not even the craziest judge in Dallas County would do something like that. Crazy. All right, sorry. Back to the arguments.
Or the course conversations, and that would not be permissible.
Judge, let's just back up for a second. He makes a motion because he has reason to believe that there were ex parte communications made. The court has a duty, if there are ex parte communications made, to alert counsel. He shouldn't have had to learn it from wherever he learned it.
court was supposed to tell them.
Particular circumstance. I think that he had a conversation with somebody and he got some information that he shouldn't have had to begin with. So, Ms. Merchant, I'm of the opinion I'm going to stand on my ruling at this point in time. I'm going to hold him in contempt. So, at this point in time, is there anything else you want to tell me?
Yes, Judge. There's quite a few other things.
Several other points.
First of all, we would ask for you to be recused from this case because you are a witness. Necessarily, it cannot be an ex parte proceeding without you being a witness.
Do you see Miss Love? Did you see her? She's like... I'm sorry. I thought we were in a courtroom, not a soap opera. Now, sometimes there's stuff that's said on the stand and you can't help but react. You know, something completely shocking and you're just like, right? Like, it's something that comes out of nowhere. And you can't help, like, sometimes your jaw just drops open, right? But Miss Love is constantly making these movements and, you know, like, come on. It's court. And if you can't control your hands, sit on them. Real easy. Just sit on them.
So you are a witness to this proceeding. Therefore, yes, to the contempt. To the contempt. You are a witness to the contempt. So you have now, and if it's criminal, which is what you're saying it is, Mr. Steele is entitled to all the same due process rights that Mr. Williams and...
Okay, here's where the really interesting arguments start to come in, okay? So she's already made these preliminary of the finer point, more interesting arguments. What she just said is if it's criminal, Mr. Steele has the same due process rights as all of these other defendants. What does that mean? Well, under the Constitution, we all have a right to due process. It's under the 4th and 14th Amendment, okay? That means we get proper notice. That means you turn over your evidence. That means we have the ability to build a defense, okay? All of those things, there's tons of requirements on the 4th Amendment and for due process. So you want to call it criminal, judge, then he has these due process rights. And now we're about to get into this, is it criminal or civil contempt? And it's important to know because there are different punishments for each. So here we go.
every other defendant in this courtroom is entitled to. He's entitled to those. One of those is to have a fair and neutral judge decide his case. One of those is to have a judge who is not also a witness in the proceeding deciding whether or not he's in contempt. This needs to be heard by a different judge.
Boom.
And he has the right to subpoena witnesses. He has the right to an attorney. He has the right to due process, notice, a show cause hearing, notice of the alleged violation, whatever rule it is that the court believes, and a hearing where he can call you as a witness. You can testify. You are necessarily a witness. You can't, for it to be ex parte, you have to be a witness. It can't be both ways.
Yep. You made yourself a witness, Judge. You put yourself in this position, Glenville.
I'll let an appellate court decide that. So, anything else?
Yes.
No, we'll file a notice of appeal.
No.
Okay.
And we need to have the order reduced in writing as well.
I'm going to do that right now. I will state for the record at this point in time that Mr. Steele has in fact, or has filed, and I will note this as part of for the record in this case.
Don't forget, the judge asked Steele how he could pare it back.
He's filed a motion to set aside the contempt. He's filed a motion for a supersedeas bond, and he's filed a notice of appeal, all of which I will include for the SNX court's exhibit in order. But I'm reducing the contempt to writing. And I mentioned earlier, he can purge himself of the contempt just by telling me who it was, and he can do that this evening. He can do it right now. He can do it at any point in time. If not, I'll revisit the circumstance on Friday.
And Judge, we would ask that you grant the bond. At this point, grant him a bond on that issue.
And you don't get a supersedeas bond on a criminal contempt, though.
You can grant him a bond.
No, you don't get one on that one.
The civil is the one that you can hold him until he complies with the order.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry, I think in
Okay.
Just the case law on that.
Okay, here comes Ponytail, right? And he will clarify. For some reason, the judge will understand it when it comes from Ponytail. There are two types of contempt. There's civil and there's criminal, okay? Each one comes with its own punishment. If you're held, and you might remember Ms. Love earlier this day on Monday said that they were having the ex parte meeting about Woodie's civil contempt. Civil contempt is not taken away, you're not cured until, or it's not taken away until you cure it. So if you refuse to testify, you can be held in civil contempt, right? You're not going to get out until you testify. That's what happened with Woodie. Criminal contempt is different, or contempt, sorry, is different. In criminal contempt, there's a limit of 20 days in jail and or a fine. Okay.
In Ray Hughes.
Hold on.
Right.
The superseded bond requirement does not apply in the contempt in the presence of the court during the progress of a proceeding, OCGA 5-6-13 Bravo. So, you don't get a supersedious on that, on a criminal contempt, respectfully.
So, Judge, just to clarify, it's your ruling that this is a criminal contempt that Mr. Steele has committed, not a civil indirect contempt.
That's correct.
Okay.
The judge, and that's the reason I'm asking is because the N. Ray Hughes case, which is a 2009 Court of Appeals case, 268, Georgia Appeal 66, lays out the distinction, as does the Ramirez case.
There's a case that, in fact, I'll do you one better, sir. In fact, there is a recent pronouncement out of our appellate courts.
Which is, I think I'm addressing a slightly different point of law.
Yes, hold on.
Yeah, I think for some reason Love and Judge thought Bumpus wouldn't advise everyone of the
Two
illegal
cases.
meeting.
One is it's Untema. It's UNTEMA versus Smith, and that's 371 Georgia Appeals 19. Which was decided March the 12th of this year. It covers the differences between the types of contempt. And then there's another case that I'd invite your attention to, and that is Henry Syverson. It's SYVERTSON, and that is 368 Georgia Appeals, Georgia App, I should say, 865. And that was decided July 31st of last year.
And Judge, I'd just like to point two things out. The statute that you were citing about the supersedeas, it only says it's not mandatory. You still have discretion to grant him a supersedeas bond.
Oh, Judge, yeah, you just cited the law incorrectly.
The other,
I'm not going to grant a supersedeas bond.
and so you definitely have the discretion to grant him a supersedeas bond. The other issue is if it is a criminal contempt and you are finding him guilty of criminal contempt, then we have to have a sentence imposed. Now, civil is where you get to hold him until he complies.
No,
criminal is where you get to impose a sentence, maximum 20 days and $1,000 fine. So if you're going to incarcerate him under a criminal contempt, he's got to be sentenced.
Well, his contempt is as long as he, when he tells me what the basis of the conversation was, I didn't ask what, but he tells me that, then I can certainly, he purges himself of the contempt.
Then that's civil, Judge.
That's civil contempt.
That's civil.
And that's respectfully, I would point you to In Re Hughes, which stands for the same point of
And
law.
respectfully, for the fourth freaking time, go to In Re Hughes so that you can see the law that you need to apply.
Civil contempts impose punishment as a means of coercing future compliance with the prior order of the court. Here, the prior order of the court presumably is that you have directed Mr. Steele to answer the question, to disclose the information as to who is his source for knowledge of this ex parte meeting that occurred earlier today. Criminal contempt imposes unconditional punishment to punish the act which has occurred in the past and cannot be purged. It is not capable of being purged, in which case what Ms. Merchant said applies, which is that there is a 20-day maximum sentence and $1,000 fine.
Okay.
It is for all.
So, criminal contempt is for when you cannot correct it, and that's when you can be sentenced to jail and fined. Civil contempt is when you can correct it. Contempt is when you can correct it, and then you can sit as long as it takes for you to decide to correct it. That's the distinction. YS Ponytail 2 just gave us. Okay. The judge somehow does not seem to be understanding this at all.
All intents and purposes, a misdemeanor offense, Judge, which is why the enhanced due process protections apply to that. Now, Mr. Steele has indicated to us he does not believe that he can answer the question without violating his duty of loyalty and duty of confidentiality.
What did I just say to you guys?
So he is being placed in a position where he's either going to jail or he's going to commit an offense that will put his license to practice law at risk. And
Okay, go to jail or lose your license, potentially lose your license. That's real shitty choices, Glenville, and those are choices that attorneys should have to even be facing.
that is an untenable position to be in. And Mr. Steele is a zealous advocate for his client, and he is simply trying to protect that duty of loyalty and duty of confidentiality, because if he answers your question, it is reasonable to assume and likely that he will be facing a bar complaint, a suspension, or the loss of his license.
But y'all, judges are not to put us in that position. Judges are not to put attorneys in that position. That's unbelievable. That is unconstitutional. It violates the right of his client and it violates Steele's rights. So you're just going to shit on two people's constitutional rights? I mean, come on.
He's in a very, very difficult position where if we were able to have a full contested hearing with the benefit of witnesses and an impartial judge where you're a witness, then everybody could present their side of the story. And
I'm not doing that. The reason being is because that takes away the whole point of criminal contempt, and that is you do something, the court tells you to do something, order of the court, and you don't follow it. I didn't ask him to do anything illegal, immoral, unethical. I just asked him to tell me. I know what the privilege is. The privilege is the conversation. I didn't ask him about that. I wanted to ask him about who, the person. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Steele has indicated to us that he does not believe he can answer that question without also violating the privilege.
Okay.
And Judge, that's why we're trying to figure out if it's criminal versus civil. So the issue is you're picking and choosing. You're saying, well, you get the bad side of criminal and no bond, but I really am actually trying to punish you civilly, which is when you hold someone until they comply.
Okay, let me think about it just a second, okay? I'm going to take 5 minutes out and I'm going to think about it.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So we'll be in recess about 5 minutes.
Okay, so the 5-minute recess then proceeds to be about 45 minutes. And it appears that Glenville finally made up his mind. It is, in fact, going to be criminal. But what Ashley was saying there is like, Judge, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't take the worst punishment from civil and the worst punishment from criminal and combine them. You have to choose one. You either get civil contempt, geez guys, or criminal contempt. You don't get to mishmash. That's not how this works. Obviously, he finally, I mean, it only took 30 minutes. 30 minutes later, he finally seemed to understand what they were saying. And finally comes out. Asked Mr. Steele to stand with his counsel.
Okay, Ms. Merchant, Mr. Steele, and I apologize.
Mr. Susur, Judge.
One more time?
Susur.
What? Spell your last name for us.
S-U-S-O-R. Sierra, Uniform, Sierra, Oscar.
You're a good man. Good man. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Susur as well. All right, counsel, I've made a clarification or to the order of contempt. Mr. Steele, I am going to hold you still hold you in summary criminal contempt pursuant to OCJ 15-1-3, subpart 3, for your failure to comply with my earlier order today. I'm going to order that you be taken into custody, incarcerated in Fulton County Jail for no more than 20 days for this contempt. Those 20 days consisting of every weekend for the next 10 weekends. And you'll be reporting to 901 Wright Street, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, so Judge says you're going to go to jail for 20 days to be served with 5 sets of weekends. You show up at 7 p.m. Friday and leave 7 p.m. Sunday. Watch this. You don't become YSL Steele by ratting out your sources, and you don't become YSL Steele by being a pussy. This guy is amazing. Watch what he says to Glenville. Just this is, to me, well, after the, I love you, Brian Steele. You're amazing. You are my hero. Some heroes wear suits.
30318 at 7 p.m. on Fridays. You'll be released on 7 p.m. on Sundays. And it's to commence this Friday, June the 14th at 7 p.m. and not to end until Sunday, August the 18th at 2024, 7 p.m., subject to further order of this court.
Okay, so he's supposed to be in jail when we go out there.
And that will be entered and e-filed. And you may take whatever steps you and your counsel deem appropriate after that. Okay?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm going to file a notice of appeal, but for whatever reason that doesn't take, and you don't give a bond, then I'd ask that I can be with Mr. Williams and we work on our case all weekend, for all those weekends. Otherwise, I can't prepare. I speak with Mr. Williams all the time.
That's up to you. And sir, I will, if that comes to pass, you have my support. I will talk with our sheriff and we may be able to make that work, okay? If that should occur, okay?
Oh, okay, Judge. Yeah, you want to put me in jail? No, sure, no problem. I will go to jail. And while I am in jail, I will spend the entire 48 hours with my client preparing for the week ahead. You don't want that? You don't want that? You don't want a prepared Brian Steele out here? Are you kidding me? You don't want him spending 48 hours with Doug. You do not want him being able to clarify and go through this and figure this out and so on. That's how you know. Right there, that is how we know that Steele makes me tear up a little, y'all. That's so beautiful. Kleenex. My goodness, you guys, he said, oh, okay. Oh, sure, you want to lock me up? Okay, yeah. Cool. Then let me hang out with my client for 48 hours so I can be really ready. Just take a moment. Let's all just take a moment. Let's take a moment to really just appreciate the balls of Brian Steele. I mean, Steele balls, my God. Okay, well then can I go ahead and meet with my, oh my, y'all. I love him. I love him so much. He's so amazing. Okay, so I've been going through your comments. There's so many of y'all. I'm so excited, and I'm not able to see all of the comments. Like, they flash by so quickly. I just thought, man, Monday evening was wild. Okay, so then there's a lot that came out of Monday that I want to talk about before we get into the rest of the week. Okay. So first I looked up what is a Supersedeas bond, and I'm going to spell the word Supersedeas for you because it's freaking weird. All right, you ready? S-U-P-E-R. Fine, that part I got. Super, got it. Sedeas. S-E-D-E-A-S. Where'd that A come from? That's wild to me. But you know, a lot of legal words are based off Latin. So it must be like Supersedeas, and we just say it wrong or something. Who knows? Okay, it can often be referred to as an appeal bond, is a type of surety bond. So a surety bond is like a secured bond. It's like, you could, like a metaphor for it would be, you know, your mortgage, you put your house, you have a mortgage on the house, but if you don't pay it, they can come take the mortgage. The surety bond is like an assurance. There's this extra assurance. Okay, so it's an appeal or surety bond that is required in certain court cases when an individual or entity is appealing judgment to a higher court. The bond ensures that the appellant will not evade financial responsibility for the initial court decision. So in civil cases, you know, if you have, if someone sues you, you get a $10,000 judgment against you, you can do the Supersedeas bond, and it's like, hey, I'm not going to leave, I'm not going to hide from the judgment, but while it's being reviewed, I don't want to have to pay it, which makes perfect sense, right? Okay, surety bonds work like contractual agreements between three parties. The principal is the entity that needs to post the bond, the appellant. So in this case, that would be YSL Steel. The obligee is the court, and then the surety is the bond provider that is backing up the principal. So the surety is like a third party, almost like a guarantor. Like if you've ever had to go, you buy a car with, like, you know, your grandma helps you buy it or something like that. When you sign a commercial lease for a business, often personally you'll be a guarantor. I would equate it to approximately that. Okay, under the Georgia Code, Title 5, Appeal and Error, Chapter 6, Certiorari and Appeals to Appellate Courts generally, granting of supersedeas in cases of contempt. All right, so it says a judge of any trial court or tribunal having the power to adjudge and punish for contempt shall grant to any person convicted or adjudged to be in contempt of court supersedeas upon application and compliance. This says shall grant. The 2020 code said shall grant. Shall means will, you do. It doesn't mean must, but it's close. So this is granted to a person to be held in contempt upon application and compliance with the provisions of the law as to appeal and cert. where the person also submits within times prescribed by law written notice that he intends to seek review of the conviction or adjudication of contempt, it shall not be in the discretion of any trial court judge to grant or refuse a supersedeas in contempt. So that means that he can't decide to refuse it. He has to give it. And that's kind of what they were arguing on, okay? So I found the contempt order, and I wanted to share it with you. Let me get it open. All right, here we go. I don't know if you guys remember, but like last week I was, or I think it was last week, I said, Brian Steele is sick of this shit. I could tell something had changed in Steele, and he's sick of this shit. And then on Monday, done. You could see it in all of its glory. All right, here we go. Here's the order of contempt for Brian Steele, all right? During proceedings, one of the two representatives for Jeffrey Williams, he took the podium. He had been informed of ex parte, and he faces contempt. And so it says, every court has the power to compel obedience of its orders and control the conduct of persons connected in judicial proceedings. One who disobeys an order or command of the court may be found in criminal contempt. Fine. Violating court, base imposed, Okay, you guys, when you see this id, first of all, id is a word. Secondly, I don't remember what it means, but I know what it means, but I don't remember like the I or D. I don't remember what they stand for, but id means the previous, to see the previous quote, the previous citation. And then this one's id at 867. So he says, it means go back to the previous case law that I cited a minute ago and go to page 867. And that's where you're going to find the quote you're looking for, or the information you're looking for. Okay. Question of contempt is for the trial court, and its determination will be overturned only if there has been a gross abuse of discretion. That is how it's overturned. Okay, and then here's the whole section about when Steele will serve his terms. Now, I read yesterday, and I gotta go find, I read this last night, so I screenshotted it. All right, originally, it was my understanding that Steele is appealing the contempt order. The contempt order is an order under the RICO indictment. Oh my God, y'all! Thank you. Sadie Nash is in the house. Yes, I will be free tomorrow. I have something at 1 Central, but let's hook up. My email is in the description. And thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. I'm happy to see you here. It's very exciting. Okay, so originally my understanding was, okay, so first we have the indictment and the actual proceedings. Then we have this kind of underlying sub-proceeding of Steele's contempt, right? So my first understanding was that the appeals court was going to review Steele's contempt on an emergency, okay? And because his contempt is this underlying piece, they would have to go review the overlying, so to speak, and review the ex parte communication, all right? Now, upon review of that ex parte communication, it is more likely than not that the actual meeting itself, the communication itself, is a violation and a reversible error. So if the court finds, by reviewing the subpart, that the meeting itself was in fact a reversible error, it will create an end to the Thug trial. Done. Thug is over. All right. So as of Tuesday, I thought that by today, the appeals court would make their ruling. And they did, actually. They made their ruling, I believe, yesterday. But what they decided, is that the Supreme Court needed to hear it. So the Supreme Court reviewed the request for writ. Okay, so first you do an appeal, and then if you lose at your appeal, you do this thing called writ of certiorari, and it's spelled with a C. We spell things real weird. Okay, so when you do a writ of certiorari, the Supreme Court can decide to review that or not. You know, you hear about the U.S. Supreme Court, they only take on so many cases. People are applying writs, thousands of writs a year, and they only take so many, right? So if it's a denied at writ, then whatever the appeals court said is it. Well, what happened in this case is the appeals court said, oh, let me read it to you. All right. After 8 justices who participated in the decision unanimously granted a writ of certiorari as both to the emergency motion and the appeal of the contempt order, they ruled that when the appeal of the contempt order is docketed in the Court of Appeals, the Court of Appeals is directed to transfer that appeal and record to this court being the Supreme Court. Supreme Court of Georgia, by the way. Okay, that's a huge deal. So basically, the Georgia Supreme Court stepped in and said, no, this is such a big deal, and I guess there's something about if there's a murder case going on and the Supreme Court hears it. So the Supreme Court said this is such a big deal, and because this other case is pending, your criminal case, the larger one, we are going to everything is going to go to the Supremes. We're just going to skip the appeal and go straight to the Supremes. So the bond was granted. The appeals court said, we don't have jurisdiction over this. We'll send it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to make a ruling. All right. Now, in order for the Supreme Court to make its ruling, it is going to request the judge's ex parte transcript. It's gonna, period. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. And I'm guessing when they read through that transcript, they're gonna say, hey, this is in fact reversible error. Go redo your trial. That's my guess. That is my guess. And because of that guess, I don't think, now this segues us back to August 13th. I don't think we'll be meeting in August. I don't think the trial is going to be going on. Now, I don't know how far backed up the Supreme Court is on their review of cases or what. The Supreme Court of Georgia, I don't know. But it's an emergency motion, and it's an emergency appeal. And I really think, now again, I thought the appeals court was going to have made this decision by today, but they tossed the decision off to their bosses, the Supreme Court. And so now the Supreme Court's make the decision. Today is June 14th. I would be very surprised if we made it to the 4th of July holiday. I would be very, very surprised if this trial continues through the 4th of July holiday. I really would. Really. So everyone on my lives has kept asking over and over, like, can another judge review this? Isn't there a higher judge? Here it is. This is the highest court in Atlanta, or in Georgia, and they're going to review it. So there is a higher court finally reviewing it. And when they see this reversible error, it is very likely, in my opinion, that they will, in fact, say, hey, you can't go forward with this trial. There's no point in going forward with this trial. This is reversible error. So we know it's going to get reversed at appeal, and there's no point in continuing to cost any more money to the state. That's my guess, my belief. I don't know how soon they'll hear it. I really don't. I really don't know how backed up they are. Okay, but here's the other thing. So Belinda and I were chatting, and we were talking about, well, you know, Glenville is out here doing wild shit. The appeals court might do some wild shit. Usually the appeals court is going to follow the law, but you never know. It is Georgia, so maybe the appeals court is doing wild shit too. Who knows? One thing we do know for a fact is that the Supreme Court of Georgia is not doing any wild shit. They are the Supreme Court, okay? So if we're like, oh, there's bias, and this is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy. The craziness might continue into an appeals court. But we know when it gets to the Supreme Court, the craziness is ended, period, over, done. So I would be highly, 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 highly surprised if we continue with this trial all the way into August, which is a bummer because I really wanted to see you guys. Jerome, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, so I mean, it's I would want the trial to end now because these defendants are not getting a fair trial, period. But I'm disappointed that it would end because I love meeting with you guys every Friday at 10 a.m. and I wanted to meet you in Atlanta and so on. So, you know, it's bittersweet, but it'll be okay. They will likely retry them. If the Supreme Court ends this, let's say the Supreme Court ends this by 4th of July, then the prosecution is going to restart and, you know, they'll probably start again by like October. Thank you, Toothless Tiger. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. It's good to see you here. Toothless Tiger and I are also connected on LinkedIn, so I love that. All right. So, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. And I think they will try to retry it because I think that that Fannie is like really into these things, but I'm wondering if they retry it, if they will go to a new judge. I would hope so. Geez, I would hope so. Okay. Let us get into Tuesday, which was incredibly boring compared to what went down on Monday, which I'm guessing everyone was very pleased about because I'm guessing they were very tired from Monday. I mean, they were at work until like 8 p.m. All right. Here we go. This is Tuesday. Miss Hilton, I think she got her braids done over the weekend and they look fabulous. Fabulous. They look so good.
Any objection to states 342 Yankee Oscar? Cases? Overruled, sir. It's admitted over objection and published as you see fit.
All right. Next, I'm going to show you what's been tendered and showed to the defense counsel is 345 Yankee. Do you recognize anyone as a 345 Yankee?
Oh, yeah.
Do you recognize 345 Yankee?
Woody is my new favorite witness, y'all.
Me and a couple people from my neighborhood.
Who are those couple people from your neighborhood?
Lil D, Dun.
All right, so we get photos, just more and more photos.
Do you go to the studio with Yak?
I don't go to no studio, period. I don't even leave.
Y'all, was Yak's sweater on backwards? Because I saw like a zoom in at one point and I swear I saw a tag in the back. I swear Yak's sweater was on backwards.
I stay in the house all day.
Okay. When's the last time you spoken with Yak guy?
Look at Yak. What's he gonna say? What's he gonna say?
Have you spoken with him this year? Yes or no?
What the fuck does that have to do with this trial? I would object. Who cares?
How could I answer that?
Do you recall speaking to him in the year of 2024?
I don't speak to nobody.
Okay. In 2023, do you recall speaking to Yak guy? Yes or no?
I don't think I spoke to him in 2023.
Okay.
I remember seeing him at a club in 2019, 2020, not 2019, like 2020.
Okay. So, Woody's very evasive, obviously. For those of you asking if Thug will get bail if they retry, I'm guessing that it's going to go to a new judge, and so he would have the opportunity to ask that judge for bail and potentially get out on bail. So it could be. That is an absolute could be. But we don't know we don't know. We don't know. There's no way to be able to actually predict any of this, right? Like, I could have never predicted that Glenville was going to jail Steele. Like, if I had been able to predict that, I would be filthy freaking rich, y'all. Okay, so let's get into the whole Bumpkus thing. Now, first of all, I cannot stand it when a judge won't let you off of a trial. Like, I'm trying to withdraw, I'm trying to leave, you need to let me off. This happens all the time. But I've never heard a judge require someone to stay on the trial when their client fired them on the record. Oh, I did love the pink pantsuit too. I don't think they get new prosecutors. I learned that Adrienne Love is the chief ADA. So she is like immediately under Fannie Willis. And I told you all that they were friends. I freaking told you. And when I knew it, when I saw her job title, I said, oh, yeah, I knew they were friends. I called that. Hey, Anthony, welcome. Hey, nomenclature.
Starting we're all participants back, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, counsels, if I get you to take your seats and gather your thoughts, please. Okay, before we call in our jury, it has been brought to the court's attention that Mr. Copeland's counsel, Ms. Bumpus, would like to be released. Is that correct, madam? Okay, all right.
Okay, everyone. Chan, everyone. Fannie's name is always on every pleading that comes out of a DA because she is the DA. Everyone else just works under her. Nomenclature actually sent me a video, y'all, where you can see the judge do this little thing, and then you see Miss Hilton do kind of a similar thing back. Like we're in baseball. Weird. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but it looked weird.
Sir, Mr. Copeland.
Thank you, Cobra.
Is it your desire to release your counsel at this point in time?
She fired.
Okay. In any other courtroom in the entire United States of America, the client says she's fired. She's fired. Fired. However he says it. I let her go. That's it. The judge now then would look at the attorney and go, okay, well, you're dismissed. Or, hey, I want you back on the 25th for this other hearing. That would have been the end of it in any other courtroom in America, period.
She's fired? Okay. So do you wish to represent yourself in these particular, in terms of any issues you may have in this particular...
Do I got a choice?
I'm sorry?
Do I got a choice?
Yes, you do.
And what are those?
You can keep your lawyer that you have right
I
now.
don't want her.
All right.
I don't want her. Second time on the record, he said, I don't want that. Like, they're on the record. You see right here? She's typing. That means they're on the record. He said twice now, I don't want her to be my lawyer. She's not my lawyer. It should end. Every other judge in America, it would end right there. Period. Done. Okay, bye.
You could certainly hire another lawyer, or the court could appoint you a lawyer.
What I need a lawyer for?
It's just the court is just asking you whether it's your choice, sir.
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Ms. Bumpus, did you file an entry of appearance?
I'm good. He said, I don't need a new lawyer.
All right. Did you
And I couldn't hear her if she said yes or no, if she filed an order of appearance. I highly doubt she filed an appearance because, as you recall, he had some white dude on Friday, and he said Ms. Bumpkus was just going to fill in for him on Monday. Why would she file an appearance?
The Uniform Superior Court rules filing a motion to withdraw pursuant to the Uniform Superior Court rules. I mean, I know you give an oral notice, but usually has to be in writing, and he has 10 days to object.
If she requested to no longer be his lawyer, there would be 10 days. Like, when I have clients that aren't paying, I send them a 10-day letter. It says, I'm not going to be your lawyer. You have 10 days to either pay or tell the judge you object to this, but I'm asking to be removed because you haven't paid me, right? That 10-day letter is only necessary. Those 10 days is only necessary when it's the lawyer's decision, not when you're being fired on the freaking stand.
Say again.
Okay, also, we got a timeout right now. What are those horrible pants she has on? Are they satin cargos? Are those satin cargo pants she's wearing? Is she wearing sea green satin cargo pants with a lime green button-up shirt and no jacket in court? Is that what I'm seeing? Is that what I see here? Ew, like, you put your jacket on. The only time you take your jacket off in court is if all the other dudes have their jacket off in court and one of them asked the judge if he was allowed to. That's it. Otherwise, you have that jacket on, period, end of story.
As a courtesy for judicial efficiency. But if the court desires for me to file a motion to withdraw,
well, given the fact that you have represented Mr. Copeland at this point in time, it would seem appropriate that you do need to, in fact, file a form with.
Okay. How did she represent Mr. Copeland? Because she never stood up during this questioning and objected or advised him or did anything. If the judge is saying that she has represented Mr. Copeland, that means that something happened at that meeting where she had to represent him. Something went on at that meeting where she was forced to either stop or speak. What's that tell you about that ex parte meeting? And someone said they've had plenty of ex parte meetings. Sure, I've met with judges with, no harm. I've talked to judges. That happens, absolutely. We meet with them. I got to talk to you. I've asked another judge about a case not in his courtroom. Hey, I have this thing. I'm kind of stuck. Can you give me, what would you do? And a lot of judges are actually willing to provide that kind of advice. But if that's the case, and when that's been the case, they would also hand over easily, upon any kind of questioning, hand over the transcript, right? They have nothing to hide. Sure, have the transcript. Yeah, you could see that I taught this idiot something she didn't know how to do. Like, the fact that he won't hand over the transcript and he's so concerned about the source shows me his guilt. So, all right. I don't know that she is the whistleblower for sure, y'all. I really, really, really tend to believe, my fake cell phone, the vitamins, that she texted the white dude who is Woodie's actual lawyer and told him, and he texted or called, because, he's not flying out at 4 a.m. necessarily, right? Or maybe he was on a, they're in there for 3 hours. So I'm sure that she had plenty of time to text the other lawyer updates, so. Woohoo! All right, here we go.
Withdraw, even though you didn't enter one, you de facto entered this case by your representation of him, or you telling the court that you did in fact represent him. So at this point, I'm not inclined to release you until that's done.
I'll get that done now, Judge.
Okay, all right. And he's got 10 days to go ahead and do that. So you're still going to have to be here until.
He looked surprised. Did you just see his face? His face looked surprised. Like, why do I need 10 days? I just told you she's fired.
Because he gets that particular period of time to go ahead and decide whether or not he'd like to hire her. That's the whole reason for the 10 days.
Even Love looks confused. Even Miss Love is like, what the fuck is going on? Nobody need no 10. He fired her.
I don't want to hire another.
Oh. Not yet. You get that right as a party. Okay.
I can be right.
You do. Yes. You get that right to hire a new lawyer. You get the right to do a couple things. One, to decide whether or not you can release her.
Okay.
Okay. Two, you get to decide whether or not you want to get another lawyer.
That's the other thing. He doesn't get to decide if he wants to release her. Lawyers are not captives of their clients. We are not, this is not a kidnapping situation. We're not being held at ransom. If we don't want to provide services to them anymore, we have a right to withdraw. And they have an absolute right to fire us. And Woody, fired her twice already, 2 minutes ago.
To be with you.
Okay.
Okay, those are the two big things you get a chance to kind of decide. But what I'm going to do at this point in time is, since she's representing you, I'm going to make her file a formal notice to withdraw. She's orally told you at this point in time she wants to withdraw. But you're on this.
When did she say she wants to withdraw? He said you are fired, y'all. Nomenclature, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. I really appreciate y'all too. Funny story, my son, he's 19, right? So the other day he texted pre. We said, my daughter, like, what's pre? He said, it's like, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Pre is a prefix to too many words, son. Toothless Tiger, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. She says this is a 6th and 14th Amendment violation. Glenville is trying to, I don't know what CHA means. He knows she's not going to keep his attorney a record without rep. At this point, he doesn't need an attorney because he's gotten immunity. He can say whatever he wants and he's going to walk home. As long as the feds don't come after him. But he's going to walk home from the Fulton County. I mean, it's just wild. It's wild.
Stand, you're testifying at this point in time. So I'm not going to let her withdraw at this point.
Well, Your Honor, I just would like to say, before he started testifying, I was fired.
I don't know.
Blaming her. Hey, Tina the Traveler, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I appreciate it. Do I have an opinion as to why Glenville seems so unfamiliar with court proceedings as he recently pointed? No, in fact, he is like the head judge of the court in Fulton County, Georgia. He's like the top. He's been at the top. So I don't know why Glenville is like this, except that he seems a little biased.
With you and Mr. Melnick and whatever, but Mr. Copeland does have rights in this particular circumstance. So to file proper notice to withdraw, I'll give once it's filed, will be filed today, I'll give Mr. Copeland the 10 days, but until such time as I rule upon that and he gets that and gets an opportunity to think about what he'd like to do, I'll go ahead and insist that you remain with us while he's on the stand.
Okay, Judge.
Okay. Madam, I have one other bit of business that...
Can I approach her with the state?
No. What does he want to tell me?
I don't want to say it in open court.
Hi, Fitness God, thank you. Florida, I don't think we're gonna get to the part where we get innocent or guilty. Adrian, I'm in Texas, the great state of Texas. Thank you, Fran, for having my back, girl. Love y'all. I have like the best chat on the internet, hands down. What is he doing? What is this long? This is like, all of this is our taxpayer dollars. Just.
All right, State, Ms. Bumpus, come on.
Oh, okay, now he changed his mind. I don't understand how this man runs his courtroom, man. I am so glad I am not a taxpayer in Fulton County. I would be lit. I would be lit if I saw my tax dollars going down the drain like this every day.
And I don't believe you have the right to be present, sir.
Who? I was one of the defense attorneys, I guess.
State objection, forever. I do think we have a right to be present, and I think there's case law to that effect.
Shard and Silver Fox just
on the
fist bump.
grounds that we are now being excluded from a conversation about material witness in prosecution of state versus the non-defender and material witness, conversation about material witness and a conversation between the court and that.
Okay, Lorenzo, thank you. Subscribe, please.
And the state, which are now conducting a meeting with the court without the ability for me as the attorney for the defense in our case to be present and knowledgeable about those conversations. In fact, that ex parte communication creates an appearance. I say this with tremendous reservation.
Here we go.
I also want to apologize for saying it. I think it creates the appearance of impropriety and bias on the part of this court.
Okay. So this is the guy Weinstein works with. I forgot his name. It was very brief, short name, like ATK, something like that. He is straight up saying, it pains me to say this. I don't know why he would put that in front of it. Like, at this point, you should not be pained to call the judge out as biased. But okay. So he is now saying, like, look, if you now talk to these people up here at the stand without us there, that's showing bias, dude. Like, don't you think your meeting was enough? Weinstein gets into that yesterday, so we'll be there soon.
Yes, Your Honor is doing that, but it creates the appearance of it. So I have to.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like to just add, I'll adopt everything that's now said, but I'd like to just add also under Article 1, Section Paragraph 12 for the Constitution, it also denies the
I like this sweater, a little see-through, but I like it.
ways that government is appropriate. His right to a critical stage of the
Apt.
And sorry, Your Honor, if I could just add to that for the record. I'm going to cite to the Uniform Security Protocol 4.1, which prohibits this type of communication. I'll cite to the Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct, Rule 3.4, which prohibits this type of communication. And I'll cite to the court several cases which I believe support that. The first is Monday versus Magnolia Advanced Materials, which is 815 Southeast 770. It's Georgia Supreme Court from 2018. I'm going to cite to the court Wayne versus State, which is 139 Georgia Act 355, it's a 1976 case. Trial judge should not attempt to intimidate witnesses to testify on behalf of the state either in or out of the presence of the jury. And it also creates a presumption that the court should have to recuse itself. In that case is Purvis versus State, and that's 319 Georgia Act 432. That is the Georgia Court of Appeals case from 2012.
Okay. Nobody has answered my question yet about Yak's sweater. Was it on backwards at one point during this day? Because I swear, right here, I swear that is the tag hanging out, y'all. I swear that is a tag. Or is the sweater supposed to look like that?
Okay.
I love Shard's blue. Okay, so we're not gonna have the hearing. Okay, so you know what? These guys are right. Go sit down. Florida, I would never move to ATL. No worries, it's way too hot
I
there.
just wanted to be given an opportunity to be able to respond to that on the record and to point out that the distinction between the assertions by counsel for the defendants and what is going on here, and the assertion being made that a trial judge should not intimidate or coerce a witness. Actually, can we...
Yeah, hold on a second. Mr. Can I just step outside for just a second and let me finish this argument, please,
Copeland
sir?
has been there the whole time, just sitting there. He's probably like, oh my God, why am I here?
Mr. Copeland?
Wait, you want me to go up?
Yeah, just step outside in the vestibule if you wouldn't mind, sir, please. Thank you.
We do have Instagram, we have email, all that is in the description box on each video, guys. So you can email me, you can come to our Instagram. I've had quite a few people join, had quite a few people message me.
Mr. Copeland's left us.
Nomenclature and I have been chatting back and forth.
Your Honor, what I believe that Ms. Bumpus wants to address with the court is strictly and solely the civil matter that involves the motion of the state to compel her client, Mr. Copeland, to testify, the offer from the state of immunity should Mr. Copeland testify, and the motion of the state to the court to sanction Mr. Copeland if he fails to comply with an order of the court pursuant to 24-5-507. That matter is a separate matter from the trial that is going on now. It is akin to the state moving the court for a material witness warrant for a person who refuses to obey a properly served subpoena. It is not something to which either defendant is a party, and for that reason, it is our position that counsel for the defendants are simply wrong in this instance, and that if Ms. Bumpus chooses to address the court with the state regarding a matter to which the state as a moving party and her client as the person for which the state made that motion are involved only, then the parties to that matter are the state and Mr. Copeland. And so for that reason, I believe that Ms. Bumpus is entitled to address the court with the other party in that matter, which is the civil contempt order entered by the court on the motion of the state at the time that the state moved the court to compel the testimony itself.
If that dog could talk.
I don't know what she's going to say, so that may make it not subject to ex parte or not. But what does he want to tell me, madam? Can you tell me the subject matter?
Yeah, about when he said he fired.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I'm
that's
just trying to go home.
We have to have a hearing on that issue. We have to have a hearing on that. We'll have to have a hearing on that issue.
God, those hands are ugly.
That's not an ex parte matter, okay?
What I'm trying to say is something that happened during the ex parte matter, which is why I don't want to say it in open court.
No, I'm good. And
doesn't that make you think I'm right about the texting? Like, if she's unwilling to talk about what happened in that meeting in open court, is it really likely that she went off and told all the defense attorneys? I don't know.
Reduce it to writing and your request to withdraw, and your client, which will bring back in, your client needs to be able to have a say so on whether or not you can withdraw.
He did have a say so. Oh my God, he said she's fired on the fucking stand 5 minutes ago.
If he wants to have you and wants to get another lawyer.
No one has respect for this court anymore, Ron. It's over.
That's it. No, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be ex parte. Okay.
So,
done.
As a result, Your Honor, if there's no ex parte communication, then I'm withdrawing my objection.
Okay.
I just want to make that clear to the court.
That's fine.
The court doesn't.
No, that's fine. You're doing your job. No, you're doing. No, Mr. App, I wouldn't say that.
App's allowed to do his job.
I'm trying to objection only with respect to this particular meeting.
Okay.
I reserve it with respect to any other ex parte
All right.
communication.
No problem. Okay, can we bring Mr.
TJ says Woody lawyer in contempt of the fashion police.
Can we hold off until Mr. Copeland comes back in? Okay.
Don't cut off Silver Fox. You're right, get black with me. He did never hire her. Not only did he never hire her, she was a sub for someone else. He fired her on the record twice while we were watching here. Like, it's crazy. And the thing is, y'all, how Bunkus feels, I can really empathize with her. Like, I can really empathize. She is now a hostage of this court because the judge won't listen. Look, even Woody's like, I'm sorry, I want you to leave. Like, crazy.
Yes, Your Honor. Just to put the court on the record, it's my understanding from last week's proceedings that Mr. Copeland was actually represented by Mr. Jonathan Melnick, and that the court required Mr. Melnick to be here on Monday. And Mr. Melnick indicated that he had non-refundable airline tickets and that he would have someone appear in his place. So I believe Mr. Melnick is still this gentleman's attorney.
We don't know that. We really don't know. I don't even know if he's entered an appearance for the purposes of this.
Check the circumstances
there are, but I'm dealing with it from the standpoint of Mr. Copeland is on the stand. He's a witness. He's had counsel. He's going to continue to have counsel. So that's the reason I'm stating this at this point in time. Okay, sir? But thank you for
like everyone's typing it down. Hilton's got something to say.
All right, so Ms. Bumpus, follow your motion. But until such time, you're going to need to remain as long as Mr. Copeland is a witness. And once we've had an opportunity to hear that, then I'll go ahead and do that. But it's not timely to begin with because he's on the stand, he's testifying. Okay, so whatever arrangement you had with Mr. Melnick, I'm sorry that that's put you cross purposes with not being able to be released. I don't know what difficulties it causes you otherwise, but I apologize on behalf of
you're holding me hostage.
You're right, we did want to put something on the record as well, that Mr. Copeland has satisfied at this point his contempt by testifying. So if he remains and testifies, then unless he wanted to, there would be no purpose for an attorney. So long as he remains and he testifies, that's the only if he pleads the fifth or fails to testify will he be subject to being placed in custody. So at this time he has purged his or satisfied his contempt because he is testifying. So long as he remains in this posture, then we believe the contempt will be completed and he would not need an attorney. So,
yeah.
But I can't
but that's
even though he holds his choice.
That's what the rule gives him 10 days to do. We're kind of saying
that's his choice. He said she's fired. He made the choice twice in front of you.
We'll make that choice right now. We're telling him here in open court to do that. So that's what the court's concern is at this point in time.
But Your Honor, I was representing him for the civil contempt, not as a witness. So that once he purged himself, I should have been released.
Let me go home. I need to go earn money. I can't earn a living sitting in here. I swear it's like Glenville gets in his head one way, and then like you chisel at him over and over, and you say things 800,000 different ways, and then finally he's like, "Oh yeah." It's ridiculous. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Rona, no one's paying her. That's the whole point. She wants to be gone because she's not getting paid. She came in on Monday morning as a favor about the contempt. She got sucked into this ex parte meeting that she shouldn't have been sucked into. That's totally illegal, but the judge had her go into it. I mean, maybe it's totally illegal. We don't know yet. We don't know what was said. Judge has her go into it. You can't say no. What are you going to do? You got to go into the meeting. You got to be there for your client. Now your client's fired you on the record twice. 2 times in the last 30 minutes your client's fired you, yet the judge has decided no, he gets 10 days to decide.
I'll call you back. Okay? All right. You can have a seat. I'll call you back.
I do love her hair though. Yeah, Gene, he is making up his own law. It's crazy. I mean, it's just wild. Hi, Ty. Hi, T-Mac. Hi, Walter, Jaybird, Jeff's Insights, Tony Way. Joy, hello. Hi, Chan. Thomas, hello. I mean, just you guys. Jerry Lauren, that is a great name. Lauren happens to be the best name ever. Ooh, Lori is a great name too. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat, Lori. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate everyone who's here. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you're hitting like and subscribe. I am Lauren Cadillac. I am an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I do not do criminal defense, but I am a courtroom attorney. I do civil litigation. And I've been following this case since I found out that the state was going to use rap lyrics to prosecute. I became very interested in this case at that time. So thank you everyone who's here. Thank you for joining. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe. There is going to be trial today at 12:30 their time. Glenville said they'd start at 12:30 their time, which you know means they'll actually start around 1:30 their time, which is 12:30 mine. So we've got probably about 45 minutes left before they get into actual court. Michael, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Because they used to getting over on the public defenders. It's true. You can see that these prosecutors are not used to having to work against like really good lawyers. Hey Derek, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. This judge can't admit when he's wrong and it's going to cause the case to be overturned, and they should get a guilty verdict, in my opinion. Now, I don't know about a guilty verdict because I haven't seen enough evidence for that, but you are right. The judge is going to get this overturned, and it's been his bad behavior. It's because of him we've only seen 90 days of presentation in 8 months. It's because of him we have 2-hour breaks. It's because of him Steele was held in contempt, and it's because of him that he's now holding this lawyer hostage. It's unbelievable, you guys. Thank you, everyone, though. Thank you for joining the membership. Thank you for your likes, your subscribes, your super chats, all of the support. I appreciate you so much. It's thrilling. It's so exciting. Hunter, no, Thug's lawyer did not end up going to jail. If he was going to have to go to jail, it would have been tonight. And he didn't. Sorry, guys. Let me move my notes out of your faces. Oh, I can see him over here.
All right, Ms. Bumpus.
Okay, here we go. Finally a solution.
At this... go ahead, man. You take the podium, please. At this point, the court is still of the opinion that you need to file a motion to withdraw and give your client an opportunity to respond to that. So once you do that, and he has the opportunity to respond to it, I'll calendar it, in fact, for unless he decides immediately that he wishes to not hold your required services, but usually he gets 10 days. So.
And how would the court know if he's deciding immediately? Because
well, usually he's here. I mean, you know, we have either the time passes and there's no objection is filed, and you get it immediately. It's granted, or
Derek, thank you for the $4.99 super chat.
I either don't want you as attorney, or I want to have you as attorney. I'm going to get new counsel.
Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. If they get a verdict. If we even get to that point, because as I said earlier in this live, I think the Supreme Court is going to put a halt to this pretty soon.
I've gotten new counsel.
And so Jonathan Melnick is just able to be released?
Yeah, what about his attorney of record?
Was between you and Mr. Melnick. I had no idea. That's not my purview. All I know is that Mr. Melnick was here on Friday. He said he was going on a vacation. I don't know if he even properly entered an appearance in this case. I know that his leave wasn't appropriate in this case because he asserted himself as and represented to all concerned that he was in fact Mr. Copeland's attorney. So, and then Mr. Melnick said that he would have counsel for Mr. Copeland on Monday, and that was you. and then you appeared on Monday. So I do think that you do need to properly withdraw and give your client an opportunity to do to have the full range of options. So until that's done, Mr. Melton may come back and may decide, well, yeah, I'm going to pick up, and I still represent Mr. Copeland, but I need to. I'll take up that issue when it was presented before me. Okay. All right.
Man, if I was her, I'd be lit.
Morning, the 25th of June at 9 a.m.
Oh, you know what that happens to coincide with? The show cause hearing the judge set.
All right. Let's sign my jury, please.
All right. That is like everything that came out of Tuesday that was even somewhat interesting. Okay, so the judge issued a show cause order, which is an order that a judge can issue before a contempt or something along those lines. It basically is an order that says, hey, I want you to come to court and I want you to show cause as to why. Now, typically, when a judge does a show cause, it's show cause as to why you didn't follow my order, right? So let's say the judge, I don't know, the judge orders you to take a shower on Tuesday at 3 p.m., but you were at work, and so you didn't take the shower on Tuesday at 3 p.m. You, in fact, took the shower on, I don't know, Tuesday at 7 p.m. I'm just making shit up here, right? So if the judge found out that you didn't take the shower at 3 p.m. on Tuesday as ordered, then the judge can issue a show cause to require you to come in and explain why you didn't take your shower at 3 p.m. Okay. Super 530, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everyone and your support. Thank you so much. And thank you all who have joined the membership. Thank you. Okay, so let's get in. Let me show you the show cause that Uriel Glenville issued. So he e-filed this on June 11th. Okay. And he says, the court having been presented with an issue of contempt for determination, all individuals that were present for the ex parte conversation that took place at the court's chambers the morning of June 10th, 2024, to include witness Copeland, his attorney Bumpus, and all representatives of the state and court security personnel that were in attendance are hereby ordered to show cause before Glenville on June 25th at 9 a.m. in courtroom 1C. Why one or more of them should not be held in contempt for disclosing information from the conversation to the defense counsel. Michael, thank you for the $5 super chat. He is why Fannie brags on their conviction rate at 98 because they railroad the uneducated dudes into jail. That's so sad. That makes me actually physically ill to hear. That is, I mean, that's some like 1950s Jim Crow shit. You know what I'm saying? Like in 2024, you don't expect that kind of thing. It's just awful. Okay, so here, this judge is issued the show cause, and let's pay special attention right here to this sentence. Why one or more of them should not be held in contempt for disclosing information. That is an admission. For disclosing information, that's an admission. When the judge kept saying, he kept saying to you're parroting. To me, that's an admission of everything that anyone has asserted was said was actually said. Parroting. 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 You know when your kids parrot you, you know, they like copy every word you say and it's annoying? Parroting is copying the words you say. Okay. He wants them to come talk about, first he said you're parenting, and then now in this order he says you come talk about what you disclosed. I think his order is an admission. I mean, that order, it reads as an admission to me. Okay, we're gonna get into Wednesday next. It's slow moving, you guys. I have so many opinions. Okay, thank you all for your comments. You guys are, first of all, this is the best chat on the internet. You guys are the best, so thank you so much. And I'm happy to share with y'all. I'm just glad someone actually is paying attention to me, if I'm honest. So thank you for listening. Let's see. Allison says he knew. So I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that he's trying to hold her necessarily. Guys, sorry about my weak internet. My office is, I have got to get a new setup. I gotta find better. I'm figuring out as I go, guys. I appreciate you though. Okay, I want to ask you, I think a lot of you might know, is that courtroom 1C the same courtroom that Thug is in? Are we going to see that show cause on camera, or did the judge choose a courtroom that isn't on the cameras? Because I'm under the impression, now I know they're on the first floor right now, but I'm under the impression that the show cause is being held in a place with no cameras. And I would find that to be incredibly interesting if that were the case. And interesting in, you know, a bad way. So if they're really having this hearing with no cameras, I would be very interested in finding that out. Or I would be interested in knowing what was going on. Okay, sorry about the lag, guys. I got no control over this internet. I do not own this building. I just rent a space. All right. Thursday, Walter, thank you for subscribing. Sorry, skip. Wednesday. So on Wednesday, Miss Hilton wore a beautiful pale pink pantsuit. I'm not a fan of pantsuits usually because I feel like they look pretty masculine. But man, this one was beautiful. Beautiful pale pink. Now, it is my understanding that on break on Wednesday, oh, okay, Raynette says that 1C is a run-over room with a screen. I knew it. I knew it. Why wouldn't Glenville want to have that hearing in front of the cameras? Why would Glenville want to have that hearing in a courtroom that isn't equipped with law and crime? Think about that. Let's just, y'all think about it. You let me know what you think. Okay? Okay. All right, so on Wednesday, we had a beautiful pink suit. My understanding is that Miss Hilton, though she was dressed to the nines, did spend some time crying in the hallways. I've heard it from more than one person. I do not know if it's correct. I cannot confirm. I am not there. But I have heard that Miss Hilton was crying on Wednesday. What I want to show you on Wednesday is Weinstein's, YSL IP. I want to show you his motion to the court to have the court recuse themselves, have the court recuse itself and see what he says. Y'all know I love Weinstein. He hardly ever talks, but when he does, he comes in like a hammer. I mean, he really comes in like a hammer.
My attention, Mr. Weinstein, you filed a motion to recuse me. You filed an affidavit consistent with that, pursuant to Uniform Superior Court Rule, I believe 25.2. The court's had an opportunity to read your motion.
Okay.
I've also had an opportunity to take a look at, because this issue comes up a fair bit. Baptiste versus the state, I invite you to take a look at that.
Okay, hold on. I love this purple jacket Yak is in. I wish I could see if his pants matches his head to toe purple suit. I freaking love it. This dude has style, okay? He wins the style award. My goodness, this purple suit is gorgeous. YouTuber 530 said she thought this looked like Pepto and she didn't love it. I don't know, I thought it was great. Now, I don't love the like solid pink with the solid pink. Personally, I'm more of like use the solid pink and then wear maybe a patterned skirt or something. I don't know. Andre says, yes, Hilton was crying. It's confirmed literally right before this motion. Okay, so as I said earlier, I too cried at court on Wednesday, okay? Just because she was crying does not mean she's crying because of this motion. She could be crying because she has to sit next to Miss Love all day. She could be crying because she just got news that her grandmother passed. We have no idea. But I said earlier in this live, and I encourage all of you to watch it start to finish, it is not uncommon to find women lawyers crying at the courthouse. Okay? I'm sorry, but it's true, and it happens, you know? I've cried in court. One time I did an adoption, and I actually like cried in court because it was so beautiful. These people were adopting this child, and I was so happy to be a part of it, and I'm so sentimental. I just, And Wednesday, it was because someone had passed away and left children that were my son's age. Oh, God, get me out of here. So who knows why Miss Hilton was having her meltdown. We are going to give her grace. We are going to let her cry. It is okay, Miss Hilton. It's okay to get it out, even if you're at work, especially if you're doing a trial. Because like Chan says here, it is overwhelming. Trial work is hard. Part of the reason wearing a jacket is so great is because it hides the sweat. Because all you do all day in trial is sweat. Trials are hard work. They're tiring. And don't forget they work till like 8 p.m. on freaking Monday. Now they only work like 4 or 5 hours on Tuesday, but this ish is exhausting, y'all. Okay, YouTuber 530, get back to work. Thanks for joining us. All right, here we go. Let's get into this motion.
From our Court of Appeals, 229 Georgia Appeals 691. Basically, you can't file a motion to recuse for ruling that a trial judge makes, okay? And that's what you're doing in this particular situation. You're saying you don't like what I ruled upon. You're alleging some facts in an affidavit that support that decision. Because if that were the case, then no trial judge would be able to sit through a trial and give adverse rulings. So for the reasons set forth in Baptiste and other cases, I'm going to deny your motion to recuse on its face, okay?
Your Honor, may I just address what you said? I disagree with your characterization that I filed a motion as a result of any ruling.
No. Well, you did in your affidavit. I'm taking in your affidavit as face value, okay? All right? I'm not contesting where you got the information from, at least not yet.
Yes.
But I'm just saying that because it also encompasses that I made a ruling. And as a result of that, if I make a ruling and you don't like it, then every litigant will say, I want to recuse you, Judge Smith or Judge Glenville or Judge whoever, okay? So
he's right about
part
that.
and parcel of it is that's why I'm making my ruling in this particular case. Remember, bias. I've got to do something extrajudicial, and you're in your particular...
Does he not hear himself? Extrajudicial bias.
Like I would have to say something about you or your clients or anything about which I would...
Like you did about Steele while the jury was sitting there? Like how you made a comment about Steele while the jury was sitting there? Cool.
Never do, because I'm a steward of this particular process. So I understand what your objection is, or what your statement is in terms of your motion to recuse, and I'm going to deny it.
And I believe, Your Honor, that under Rule 25.3, that you have to cease acting right now.
No, I don't.
Love shaking her stupid head.
And then you can, if I can just finish, and then I promise, if I can just finish this. I believe you have to cease acting. I believe that under 25.3, you have to look at the timeliness of the motion, and you have to look at the sufficiency of the affidavit. I do not believe that you are committed to just simply deny without taking those steps.
Is that it?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So noted.
Are you denying at this point?
I'm still denying your motion, okay?
Would you grant a certificate of immediate review?
No, sir.
Because
no, sir.
If you grant that certificate, you're always talking about how the appellate court...
No, because if I grant the certificate, it stops the case, okay?
I don't agree.
And I'm not going to do that.
I don't believe it stops the case.
I'm not going to do that.
And if
you're going to appeal it at the end of the case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, I'll live by it.
Okay? Aren't you interested in removing the cloud that's hanging over the case right now, Your Honor? If you grant...
Sir, I'd be...
I love Y'all, what have I said about YSL IP? What have I said about this man? He doesn't talk a lot. He does not get up and speak very often, but when he does, he drops bombs. Whew, whew. Don't you want to remove the cloud that now hangs over this trial? Oh, shit.
Be real careful about what you're pleading at this point in time, what you're stating to the court. As a matter of professional responsibility, remember, we haven't nugged out all of the issues involved in that affidavit. And I would be very careful if I were you, because you have some professional responsibility obligations individually and to this court. And so I would just leave it at that respectfully. I don't want to get into an argument with you about that, but I would just tell you that tread lightly, okay, in terms of that at this point.
I understand, Your Honor, and I believe that the certificate of immediate review would be in the interest of the court.
I'm not going to do that.
Would you make factual findings regarding?
I am not at this point in time going to I've denied the motion, okay?
I believe that's an error, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Can we call Mr. Copeland now, please?
Guys, I just love Weinstein. I swear, he just comes in and straight drops bombs. Don't you want to erase the cloud over this trial? Now, Woody is a hilarious witness, okay? And he just had me rolling the whole time. When all this other drama was not going on and Woody had the opportunity to answer, I mean, I'm cracking up. What I think maybe Miss Hilton is crying is because Woody is frustrating her. She's not able to get the answers she wants out of him, and she doesn't understand how to ask him questions so that he'll answer the way he wants. She just doesn't understand kind of the finesse, right? She just hasn't figured out how to navigate him. And maybe she's getting frustrated. Maybe she doesn't have a lot of experience with, you know, people like Woody, like people who will claim their ESL and not ESL, special needs, and claim they can't hear and claim they can't see. Y'all, he couldn't hear, he couldn't see, he couldn't read, he couldn't speak. The man has so many problems. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how does he even survive? You know, like, she would have something tell him to read it, he couldn't read it, he can't hear anything. She asked him at one point if he said on a video that YSL was a gang, and he responded, no, I said YSL was a game. But because here's the problem, his dialect, his accent is such that he could have said gang. Who knows? He could have said gang. I don't know. He said, no, I said game. He also answered some questions perfectly. I do not remember if it was yesterday or the day before or what, but he said that he was trying to get into hip hop. So he was repping YSL and trying to show that he could do it and he could carry the brand, etc. And that's how he was trying to get a record sold. So y'all, tell me what kind of doll Woody looks like. I swear to God, I had a doll as a child that with hair. You know, if you put like a girl hair wig like a doll. What kind of doll is that? Not a Cabbage Patch. He looks just like a doll to me.
Talking about.
Okay. And back in 2015, did you and Shell Cal have any issue?
If he's still here, then no.
Back in 2015, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you and Shell Cal had some issue?
I guess.
Okay. And is Shell Cal related to Nut?
I guess.
Do you recall in this interview telling Detective Thorpe that Shell Cal is Nut's brother?
I guess.
He guesses, guys.
And that specifically that Shell Cal is Nut's little brother.
Oh, my buddy dog.
I
yes.
guess.
Thank you,
Do you guess or do you know?
Lil Dawn, you are
I
right.
don't recall what was said in the interview.
All right. And during that interview, did you speak with Detective Thorpe about how your issues with Shell Kel began?
I guess.
When you say you guess, do you recall or no?
Saying,
Hold on. What's the basis of your objection, Mr. Sharp?
yes.
Well, so what's your objection, sir?
Hi, Hippieista. Okay, you're saying what C is the... Hey, Lonnie.
When you say you guess, what do you mean?
You asking me so clearly, I must have did.
Guys, he cracked me up the whole freaking time. It also makes me laugh how it's just, Hilton is just stumbling
When
over
did your
it.
issues with Shell Kel begin?
Look at him, look at her. Look at
I don't know.
Did you tell Detective Thorpe that your issues with Shell Kel began maybe about 4 months prior to the death of Donovan Thomas?
I guess.
When you say you guess, what do you mean?
I mean, I guess I said it, I guess.
Do you know if your problems with Shell Kel began 4 months prior to the death of Donovan Thomas?
If I had a problem with Shell Kel, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, and I'm answering you, when did those problems begin?
Say it again.
When did those problems begin with you and Shell Kel?
Oh, look at him twisted. He's not going to answer.
I probably did.
Yes, no, I don't recall.
Is today started yet?
You want me to?
Yes, sir, you may.
Yes, no, I don't recall.
If Thorpe said I said it, I said it.
If Thorpe said I said it, I said it.
Detective Thorpe, that while you were at the green store, you called Little D.
I guess.
Did you tell him? Did you not tell him, or you don't recall telling him that?
If Thorpe said I said it, I said it.
Do you recall telling him that he told you he was on Cleveland Avenue?
I guess.
Yes, no, or I don't recall.
If Thorpe said I said it, I said it.
Isn't Thorpe's report already in evidence? If Thorpe's report's in evidence, why doesn't she just hand it to Woody and say, read this and refresh? I don't understand. If I don't understand because if this is in evidence, she can just even if it's not in evidence, she can hand it to him to refresh his memory. If it's in evidence, she can read. Do you recall this? I don't get it. Maybe it's not in evidence. I don't know. I don't get it. Lonnie, I can't do a daily, man. I have a whole job.
When you got to Cleveland Avenue earlier today, you said that Little D and You're right.
I think she's oriented to time and place. So I'm over with your objections.
Oh yeah, right.
Earlier today, you said that Little D and Shannon got into your vehicle. Do you recall saying that earlier today?
I think I did.
Okay. Back in January of 2015, did you ever tell Detective Thorpe?
No, Gene, she's not impeaching him at all.
I'll rule the question, sir.
Did you ever tell Detective Thorpe that Shannon was in the vehicle with you and Little D back on the morning of January 10, 2015?
If he said I did, I did.
I'm asking you, did you? Because you're saying today.
Okay. Chan says, I can't remember 2015. I had my son in April. I can't remember that whole day. Look, I don't know about y'all, but I don't remember shit from 2015. I know where I lived. I know who I was married to. I know who my children were. But if you ask me any specifics about any specifics, I ain't got shit for you. I don't know. That's a decade ago. You know how much has gone on? In a decade? You know, that's crazy. Derek, $1.99. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Can Woody read? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he can, maybe not. I really don't think he's as stupid as he's trying to pretend that he is. I really don't. I really think he's actually pretty smart. I feel like he's running circles around Hilton.
You're saying the truth, and back then.
To the commentary. I sustain the objection.
Did you ever tell Detective Thorne that Shannon was in the vehicle with you?
I guess.
Back in 2015, you did not tell Detective Thorne that Shannon was in the car with you.
Objection asked and answered.
I sustain the question.
In 2015, did you tell Detective Thorne that only Little D got into the car with you?
I guess.
Did you say that to Detective Thorne?
If he said I did.
Back in 2015, did you then tell Detective Thorne that Little D told you that Nut just got killed?
Basis, sir.
Hearsay?
Your Honor, do
Lots of
we
hearsay.
address this?
I'm on objection.
That's hearsay within hearsay.
Confrontation clauses.
Your Honor, we
Overruled, sir.
today you said that you and Little D never talked about the murder, correct?
Today I said whatever I told Thorpe in 2015, I was trying to get him out my face. So I do not know exactly what I have told him.
Today, do you have an independent memory of what happened on January 10, 2015?
What you mean?
Do you have a memory outside of what you told Detective Thorpe about what happened on January 10, 2015?
Basis, sir. I did tell me the basis for your objection.
They believe question. He already gave it.
I'm overruled the objection, sir.
I would object to ask and answer your own.
Overruled, sir.
Wait.
So today, do you have an independent knowledge of what happened on January 10 when you picked up Little D?
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. Today, without remembering what you told Detective Thorpe, what is your memory of your interaction with Little D on January 10, 2015?
But I don't have to remember what you mean. Like, I just know that I picked up the D and Shannon, and that's when I got the call saying that I supposed to did this and did that.
And in January 2015, you never told Detective Thorpe that you picked up Little D and Shannon.
I guess.
He just cracks me up. He just evades the answer. Like the look he just gave. You can tell he's coming up with the lie.
I probably did.
Do you remember or do you not remember?
I don't remember.
And so you also, do you remember telling him that you saw the Camaro fly to the stop sign and it was going so fast that it missed it, but they turned and left behind? And when they turned left, I was in front of them. Do you remember telling him about the red Camaro doing that?
If a red Camaro followed me and I noticed it, I wasn't gonna let it. I don't remember.
Hey, Ms. Hilton, before we posit more questions, I have a good authority we need to take a comfort break, okay?
Oh, wow. Really
ladies and
good
gentlemen,
authority.
given it's so close to lunchtime hour, how about we just have you come back for 1 o'clock? And then we'll see where the afternoon leads us, okay? All right. All rise.
Yeah, Robin. Woody is the star witness, and they are in trouble. There's no doubt. If this is your star witness. So today Hilton wore green. I don't know what's going on with that color, Kelly green. I don't know why they've been wearing that to court.
we see our jury has left us.
Hi, Sarita. Welcome to the paralegal. Thank you for your membership.
Break for lunch. Mr. Short, you can make your motion, and Mr. Matthews, you can make your motion. And I take it that you are making this on the basis of the witness's testimony as to January the 11th of 2015 in regards to the mention of your clients.
Yeah, but don't guess.
Is that correct?
Don't guess the
Yes,
comment.
sir.
Okay.
Just for the record, it's my objection and my basis for the mistrial is both constitutional Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, which
you're talking about pre-arrest silence.
Well, I was going to get to that. There's the constitutional right to remain silent, but also the statutory Georgia
constitutional privilege.
Okay. Well, also the pre-arrest silence statutory, and Your Honor, we believe that those questions brought attention to my client's my client exercising those rights, and it was an inappropriate question, and we moved for a mistrial based on the comment on my client's silence.
All right. Ms. Hilton, do you wish to respond to that, and then I'll move on to Mr. Matthews?
I will. You as an individual, Your Honor?
Yeah.
As relates to Mr. Stillwell, at the time that I'm questioning
Mr. Copeland,
at the time of January 2015, at that time, Mr. Stillwell was not a suspect in this case, so would not be commenting on his
Shark soup looks nice today.
Looking at Dinkins v. State. I'm sorry.
I like
that last thing. Is it Dinkins? You said v. State?
Dinkins v. State, which is 295 Georgia Ave 289, which is the 2008 case. A prosecutor does not impermissibly comment on pre-arrest silence merely by showing that the accused demeanor and conduct during and after the crime, but before an agent of the state questions him and before he knows he's being investigated, were inconsistent with the defense, such as coercion or justification.
All right.
Well, the jurors don't know when my client became a suspect or not. So I mean, the effect on the jurors, I don't really see how that's relevant.
Further, again, Your Honor, the state's position is we weren't commenting on any of the defendant's silence, but again, to show that Mr. Copeland's demeanor now in court before these individuals versus when he was by himself in a interview room solely with the detective, that his answers are much different. And so that is the state's purpose and reason for talking about who was present with him in the room when he was conducting his initial interviews in 2015.
And Your Honor, just to respond to that argument, what undermines that argument is my client wasn't present yesterday when Mr. Copeland made it clear to the prosecutor.
He was in the courtroom here, right?
No, he wasn't present yesterday in some side room somewhere where several investigators from the DA's office and multiple prosecutors were all in a room talking to Mr. Copeland while he was a sworn witness in this case. And he let the state know that what I said in prior statements were lies. And
you were disclosed those particular statements?
I was disclosed those
I just want to make sure.
last night.
Okay.
But
I was disclosed, but that doesn't take away that they had these fucking conversations. Why are they having these ex parte conversations with the witness? It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Like, I can't even believe that they would conduct themselves. Y'all, I do civil law, and I wouldn't be over here talking to a witness that's sworn in during a trial. Like, even if it's my client, when they're sworn in, I'm not allowed to tell them stuff. Oh my God, it's
Before he testified this morning, correct?
Yeah, last night.
Okay.
And so, but the argument that, he's changing his story because he's in front of Mr. Stillwell. Not only is there no evidence that Mr. Stillwell has ever threatened Mr. Copeland or Mr. Copeland is in any way scared of Mr. Stillwell, or any of these other gentlemen, but also the fact that it was disclosed yesterday to the state with none of these gentlemen present undermines their argument that that's the reason for asking that question.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, I'm still going to deny your motion for mistrial, and I'll note that you asked, as I said before, that you posited for the next question was asked, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Matthews, Sr.
Your Honor, as it relates to Mr. Marquavius Huey, our motion for mistrial is based upon the sworn testimony that has already come out from Mr. Copeland on yesterday. Mr. Copeland stated,
oh my God, y'all, I'm so sad that YSL Silver Fox just said on yesterday. I cannot stand it when people say on yesterday. You just need to say yesterday. We know it was on that day. Like, you just say yesterday. You don't need to say on. I've had judges say on yesterday to me, and I'm like, how'd you get through law school if you're saying on yesterday? Ugh. But I'll forgive him because he's dressed nice and he is a silver fox.
that he had met Mr. Huey in 2021. He had indicated that he had met him in 2015, didn't know him in 2015 or anything of that nature. So it's a bad question that was asked in terms of whether or not Quay was there back in 2015. So that's the first point. He did not know Mr. Huey in 2015.
So it could have been there.
Secondly, Your Honor, that places it's a bad faith question. It places Mr. Huey's character in issue, and there's no basis. There's just no basis for that question to be asked. And because of those reasons, Your Honor, we would respectfully ask this court to grant a mistrial as it relates to Mr. Huey based upon those natures. There's just no good basis for that question to be asked when the witness had testified on yesterday, not to be repetitive, but he testified yesterday. He didn't know my guy in 2015. So how could he have been there in 2015 or did he show up there at the interview with Detective Thorpe in January of 2015?
All right.
Look at Miss Love, look at Miss Love, look at Miss Love being reaching and shit. Look at her. It's not even her who's getting to argue. Look at her. She's got her hand out to touch the mic. I swear, this woman, I'm guessing that Hilton was crying because she has to sit next to this bitch, Miss Love, every day. I would be crying if I was forced to sit next to and deal with Miss Love on a daily basis.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Hilton.
Your Honor, the question was a good faith basis. If you can recall, yesterday the state asked Mr. Copeland if he knew a number of these defendants. And so what the state did in order to perfect what occurred is asked about every single defendant that Mr. Copeland said he knew in this courtroom, regardless of time, so that the jurors knew that none of these individuals were present with him at the time. Now, if Mr. Matthews wants to argue at closing argument that was the station have asked that because Mr. Huey, he didn't know him, then that's a question for argument, but not a question for a mistrial, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to
look at Miss Love still talking.
overrule your objection, Mr. Matthews, and I'll also note on your behalf and your client's behalf, Mr. Huey, that you had paused the next question before.
Look at her.
Made another motion before we paused the next question.
And one more thing is to answer the record, Your Honor. And while I knew that the answer was no, the jury did not, and so we had to pose that question.
Look
and
at
there's
Miss Love.
one additional thing I want to put on the record after the close of this hearing, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else in regards to mistrial? All right. Ms. Hilton, what else?
Your Honor, as Mr. Shard just disclosed, the state turned over yesterday an email to all defense counsel regarding our interaction with Mr. Copeland on yesterday in the afternoon. I know Mr. Shard just
Everybody's
said that,
on yesterday.
You know, he was a sworn witness and we were speaking with him in a room without any of the defendants present. The statement from Mr. Copeland was a suicide.
Unless it's the word yesterday written out and something is physically on it, there is no need to ever say on yesterday. Because when you're talking about space and time, the on is assumed if you just say yesterday. It's cool. You don't have to say on. All right, here's some more.
Recall telling Detective Gaither that Kel asked for you to call Nut so that y'all could talk about what his conversation was with Thug?
I don't recall.
Do you recall whether or not you just told Kel to just pay for the window?
I don't recall having a conversation with Kel. Me and him would never have a conversation together.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither, so you hung up the phone and me and Kel started talking like, man, bro, it's over, bro, just pay for the window?
I don't talk like that.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that Kel's response was, I pay for a window, that nigga tried me?
Say that again?
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that Kel's response to you was, I pay for a window, that nigga tried me?
I said it. I'm trying to understand who said what.
I'm asking you, do you recall telling Detective Gaither?
Oral, sir.
You see how easy he twists it around? You see how easy it is for him? It's just running circles.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that?
I don't recall.
All right.
Now, we have everything with Gaither on the record already.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you said you told Kel you got a problem with Thug, you don't have a problem with me?
You asking me what now?
That's a lot of hearsay.
I'm asking you, do you remember telling Detective Gaither that in response to what Kel said, you said to Kel, you got a problem with Thug, you don't have a problem with me?
So why am I talking to Kel if that was true? I don't recall.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Okay, thank you.
K-Way, I don't remember where the Steele part was. Wasn't it after this? I feel like, I know there was like a motion and they were talking about the head nodding and stuff. I just don't remember where it was. They took so many breaks yesterday. And they took like the longest lunch they've ever taken, I swear.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither also about the night at Club Crucial when Kel hit you in the back of the head?
I probably did.
I think the question was, back in 2015, did you know the relationship between Nut and Thug? But now I'm impeaching him on what he told detectives about his knowledge of the relationship.
All right, so that's the week thus far. My are on live now. And, you know, I'm having so much fun, I figure we might as well stay together for a while. Why not? Maybe my computer will work. Let's kick up today's hearing. So there was one point yesterday where a motion was made for Miss Love to stop her aggressive head nodding and signaling. I believe Weinstein came up and said, yeah, I've actually heard her like whisper things loud enough that certainly the jury can hear her, and you know that's inappropriate and unacceptable. Obviously, y'all, we don't allow that kind of thing. And so they asked the judge to ask her to really just kind of cut that shit out. And of course, she is adamant that she is right and they are wrong. I'm trying to get the court loaded, y'all, but it is slow going on the internet today. All right.
Ms. Holtman, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Oh, look how cute Lil Rod looks.
All right. And then from representatives from the state, Ms. Atkins, Ms. Love, and Ms. Hilton.
John, I'm sorry the team's notification made your stomach drop. It was my team's notification, not yours. I'm sorry.
Mr. Kokomo, good afternoon.
Should have texted me. I swear to you guys, Lil Rod could be Beast Boy in a movie.
Good afternoon, sir. All right. I think I got all the important people, the really important people. All right, okay. Where's Ms. Knight? Okay, all right. Okay. All right, let's summarize.
Always says Adams made that statement. But Weinstein said he supported, he'd heard it too. I know Weinstein got up and said he saw it, but you're right, Adams did. Hey, Alberta, you're my neighbor. I'm right over here on 35 Had to think about which direction. Of course, court is late, y'all. They don't start on time. That's not something that happens in Glenville's courtroom. You know, he is not interested in timeliness. He's not interested in a 5-minute break lasting actually 5 minutes. He is here to take hour-long breaks, okay? He is not here to be on time. Y'all, he's not naked underneath. He's just wearing a t-shirt, okay? It's Casual Friday. F Cherry, you could send money here or you could cash app us. All the information is in the description for the video. I just appreciate you all, even for being here, for even considering. You know, I was going to do daily recaps, Lonnie, but I just like, it's too hard. I have to do my job. I have potential clients come in, you know. I can't just like mute it and go do my work in the back. You guys would not like it. So I'm gonna keep up my weekly recaps. We'll keep meeting on Fridays. I guess they'll keep coming together on Fridays. Okay, nomenclature. Thank you so much for the $10. Oh, Fantastic. Who's your baby mama? Oh, Woody got a clean shaved head today. Oh, Gene, we are absolutely going to have a comedy show. If Woody is testifying, it is going to be comedy, y'all. This guy is so freaking good at playing dumb. I mean, he's like a professional, like next level dumb player. He's so much better than Tick even was, and I thought Tick was like so good at playing dumb, but this guy, whoo, next level.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Yeah, you're right. Last Bill Center, he's out walking his dog. That's why the breaks take so long.
All right, thank you, Officer Hudson. All right.
Thank you, Hamstick.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good afternoon. All right, sorry you had to compete with the vice president in traffic today, so all of you that may have had to come down here today. So without further delay, we're going to go ahead and continue with examination of our current witness.
Is Kamala Harris in Atlanta right now?
Mr. Copeland, you're still under oath, okay?
CJ. Glenville, 30 years in the military, but never on time. Yeah. Wild.
Good afternoon. All right.
Cat will be with his head pal.
You left off talking about your interview that you did on February 20th, 2015. Going back to the incident in which you, your girlfriend at the time, and your child was being shot at, do you remember seeing any of the individuals who shot at you?
I never saw no one that shot at me at that time.
Do you recall in that interview
You're right,
a period of time where the detective left the room and you were speaking with your girlfriend and you told her that you knew who shot at you?
I never saw nobody. I never saw who shot at me. If I saw who shot at me, I would never told the police who shot at me.
I love the faces he makes, you guys.
Do you recall in this same February 20th, 2021 interview that when the detective left the room, you said to your girlfriend, this shit not gonna work. Sit right here and be a damn snitch, so I'm gonna keep going.
That's freaking hearsay and hearsay.
Do you recall telling your girlfriend that?
Behind for
I don't recall.
Okay. And then she responded.
There we go. Sorry, Gene. I have internet issues.
What you're saying is, why you acting like you did? And she said, you should have just said no. I thought you know all of them. And you said to her, I do know who it was. Do you recall telling her that?
I know that I knew the camera. I knew that I was being recorded, so I kind of knew what I was doing.
Okay. And then you said, I saw him. I did when he jumped out the car. I know exactly who I saw.
Nobody never got in the car, so that's clearly proved that I knew what I was doing.
Do you recall telling your girlfriend that?
I don't recall what I told her.
Okay. And this was when the detectives had left the room.
I don't recall if they left the room or if they stayed in.
The faces.
Do you recall further in the interview when the detectives asked you whether or not any of the people who did this had ever been to your home, you instructed your girlfriend to tell the detectives who had recently been at the house.
I don't recall what I told him.
Do you recall the detective asking anybody you let come over to the house recently that normally ain't been by there? And then you told Deshaun, tell him who been there.
All this hearsay.
If I brought anybody to my house, I'm 100% sure they know not to play with me.
Do you also remember when you and your girlfriend were in the room by yourself, you told your girlfriend it was Tay and them who did this to you?
I don't recall.
He really doesn't look that scary.
Was it Tay that shot at your vehicle?
I don't believe so.
Y'all, I wanted...
Do you recall in that same interview being concerned about being labeled a snitch?
I don't care about what I'm being labeled as.
I wanted one of those My Buddy dolls so bad. But I wanted the Big Sister or whatever. Oh, my parents said that they didn't have the money for it, which they did. I found out, decades later.
Let me ask you this. During this time when your home was when you were being shot at with your daughter and your then girlfriend, how many other family members' homes have been shot at that year?
I'll sustain as to speculation. I will overrule as to that's the hearsay from Mr. Steele.
To your knowledge, how many of your family members' homes have been shot up?
Thank you, CG. They're snakes.
Back in 2015, after Nut died.
Overrule, sir.
They're snakes.
I can't recall.
Do you know? Okay, let me ask you this. Was your brother's home shot at?
No.
Yeah, except K-Way,
Was
Omar.
your girlfriend's mother's home shot at?
Omar on the wire was scary. This guy, he doesn't look scary.
Was your sister's home shot at?
Yes.
Was your grandmother's home shot at?
No.
Did you think you were being retaliated against?
Huh?
When all the shootings were happening at your family members' homes, did you think you were being retaliated against?
What's retaliate mean?
I didn't think.
Did you know?
Clearly.
Okay. Why were you being retaliated against?
Chan, they are dollar bills.
Said I killed Nut.
They're dollar bill snakes.
And do you know who was doing the retaliation?
It's like a snake in a dollar bill. I love them.
Do you recall telling detective in the same February 20th interview that it was a whole gang after you?
Anytime the investigators talk to me, I do not recall what I have told them.
So you don't recall telling them there was a whole gang after you?
I would told them whatever I think that I need to tell them to convince them to stop watching me.
Was there a whole gang after you?
I don't know.
Was the entire IF gang after you?
I seen a few of them, so I can't say that.
Which were the ones that you saw?
I don't know.
No, his expressions
Earlier I asked you about
the
whether
best.
you were concerned about being labeled a snitch. Do you recall telling Detective Copeland?
Detective who?
Excuse me, Detective Copeland. Detective Curry.
Now I'm a detective.
I made a mistake. So I'm Detective Mr. Copeland. I'm about to ask you a question.
Correct.
Do you recall telling the detective, I know if I tell you what's going on, they're going to be on records and all this here, and you're going to get him locked up, and he's going to get his discovery package. First thing they're going to do is send it to two places, to the street and to prison, and float it all around the city of Atlanta, and then all around prison. But my name's over that. I'm not going that way. No, I'm not going through none of that. Look, they shot at me, my girl, and my baby. almost shot my face off as we're running. I'm not for sure, but I thought I heard one of the bullets hit the car seat or graze the car seat. Were you concerned about snitching in this interview?
I was concerned trying to get my story together, so I was trying to buy time.
Did you also tell in that same interview, I just know the trouble I'm putting myself in. Just know I don't want to have nothing. I don't want to have nothing, man. I can't go to no job. I can't do none of this shit. I know the street not going to be here forever. All things going on right now. Just waiting on you niggas to catch up and kill me. Again, not wanting to snitch on who did this to you, your child, and your baby.
My only motive was, anytime the police questioned me, was try to figure out how could I get myself out of it. So anytime they asked me any questions, I was trying to, if I couldn't come up with no answer right then and there, I was trying to buy time to think of something to say.
When you met with Mr. Curry, weren't you going there as a victim of an aggravated assault?
Which, honestly, guys, that's why I know he's smart. Because he went in there and was creating a story, and now he, even if he wasn't creating a story back then, that he could come in here today and say, oh yeah, I was just creating a story back then. He knows what he's doing. He can hear, he can see, and he can read. I'm sure of it.
Went to go meet with the detective that's in that picture.
Okay.
Weren't you going to talk with him about being a victim of a crime?
No, I was shooting back. So I thought they were going to try to lock me up for shooting back.
But during the course of the interview, were you made aware that they weren't planning on arresting you because you were protecting yourself?
When they said they would take me downtown, I put my hand behind my back and told him, you gonna lock me up? Come on, get it out the way now.
And did they ever lock you up?
Cause he wanted the gun. So he gave me 24 hours to give him the gun. When he let me go, I didn't come back with the gun. So they sent the SWAT team to my house to get me.
But when you went the first day, did they ever put handcuffs on you?
Cause they wanted the gun.
Did they ever put handcuffs on you?
You hadn't answered the question.
Did they ever put handcuffs on you?
One of the officers pulled them out, and he told me we don't need that.
Okay, so they never put handcuffs on you?
Asked and answered.
Did they ever put handcuffs on you?
I don't think so.
Okay. And when you left the interview, did you leave that interview without any handcuffs on you?
Yeah, I left. I went back to the streets.
So again, when you went this interview, you were not in trouble.
I was.
Basis.
Speculation. How would he know if he's in trouble?
Overruled, sir.
Were you arrested at all on February 20th when you went to go speak to the police about being shot at? Were you ever arrested that day when you went down to tell the police about what happened to you, your child, and your girlfriend?
Objection.
They locked me up the next day.
I asked you, were you arrested that day?
No, they locked me up the next day.
Were you arrested that day?
Yeah, for the 5th fucking time, Miss Hilton.
Were you arrested that day?
No.
Did you want the police to go and find the people who actually killed Nut so that people would stop retaliating against you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some honesty, guys. Oh, yeah, Nia, I think you probably have to be smarter to run the underground off.
Asked by the detective, you knew one of them. I know you knew one of them. Your face tells the story. Now, out of all the ones, I mean, you might know the other ones, but I know you know one of them because the face tells the story. Because the face tells the story of somebody being close that you trusted.
What?
And your response was, it ain't that. The truth is, I wouldn't say that person because I'm not 100% sure, but I know only one person.
What's the base of your objection, sir?
Fucking reading.
Okay.
Yeah, what is
Foundation,
going
predicate,
on?
I'll sustain the objection. Go ahead and rephrase, madam.
Did you know at least one of the individuals that were shooting at you back in February of 2015?
On my daughter's life, when they car pulled up on me, all I saw was a gun come out the window. They said, I never seen no one face. They was questioning me. They constantly kept telling me, you gonna let dudes shoot at you and your kids and this and that, and I'm telling them, and they won't believe me that I'm telling them I didn't see nobody's face. I didn't see nobody's face. And then after a while, I got tired of them asking me, so I don't recall if I just went ahead and said, yeah, I seen Tay, or I don't know how it came out, but In my heart, and still to this day in my heart, I do not believe Tay had anything to do with me getting shot at.
Okay. Do you recall telling your girlfriend when it was just the two of you, I did when he jumped out the car? I know
How the fuck would she know what he told his girlfriend when it's just the two of them?
exactly who I saw.
I don't, at that point, it was so much pressure on me. Yeah, I'm a daughter crying, I'm trying to take her to the hospital. Somebody pull up on me soon. I'm trying to figure out what made me have the gun to go to the hospital. It's all type of stuff going through my mind. I don't know. Too much going on. Yeah, I can't, because she keep asking me these questions. And
Mr. Copeland, just take a breath, okay? We do need to take down your testimony, so you do need to speak a little slower, right? Okay?
I love him so much.
All right.
This guy is not stupid. He is not dumb. No. You can't be that fast.
Are you? Can we continue?
I don't got anything else to say.
Ooh!
About which part? Regarding the gun that you used to shoot back at these individuals, who were you going to give? Which police officer were you going to give the gun to?
Huh?
Which police officer were you going to give the gun to?
Neither.
Who did you tell them you were going to give the gun to?
Whichever one they were asking for it.
Do you recall them telling
you,
you
F.
to give the gun to Gaither?
I don't recall. I know they said they want that gun as part of the investigation. I knew it was a trick. I told him if he let me go, I go get it and bring it back. He went for it.
And why didn't you get the gun?
Huh?
Why didn't you go and give them the gun?
You know, they helped him lock me up.
At any point in time, did you ever get arrested for shooting back at those individuals?
Thank God.
Thank you so much, F. Cherry, for the $20 Cash App. Thank you. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. The Cash App is # lcadilac. L for Lauren, Cadillac, my last name, 1L. I am OG Cadillac, and thank you all for joining me. I still got 1,300 of you with me today. I really appreciate it. We're watching them live. Woody's being Woody.
Do you recall them asking you some more questions about Tay, and you providing them information about where Tay was from, what part of Atlanta he was from?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall the detective asking you, we only know there's a guy by the name of Tay. Where's Tay from? What area he live in? And you told him that he was from Simpson Road area. You recall telling the detective that?
I guess I don't remember what I said to him.
Do you recall?
Because at that point he had put too much pressure on me, and you know what I mean. I'm just thinking because he told me. I remember him saying he want that gun. That's all I remember him kept saying. He want that gun.
And when you say putting pressure, what do you mean?
Same thing you doing to me now. You keep putting pressure on me.
Okay. Was he yelling at you at all during this interview?
I think he kept saying, I'm letting people shoot at me while I got my child, and my loyalty to the streets, my loyalty to my child.
Played on his manhood, huh?
So was he just trying to get you to tell him who did this to you, your child and your baby?
I stand the questions to form.
Did he ever threaten you to give a name?
Nah, but he kept asking me to make me say a name, and you like how you keep asking me a question. I'm gonna say something to answer you, so you can stop asking me the same question.
He just said he would lie in court. He just said, I'm gonna say whatever you say so you quit asking me the question. Nobody heard, the defense doesn't want to make a motion?
Were you concerned about how you were going to survive the attacks on you and your family?
Yes.
And again, were you concerned that because you had already spoken to the police about Nuts' homicide, that people were considering you a snitch, that people thought you were a snitch?
I don't get what you're saying. Can you say that again?
Were you concerned that people already thought that you were a snitch when you did this interview?
What interview?
With the detective after you were shot at? After you were shot at with your girlfriend and your daughter?
No, my only concern was... No.
Do you recall telling the detective in this same February 20th interview, I left down, I came and talked down here. Everybody look at me like I'm a snitch now. It's just like I can't get no money. You know, I was just getting money just by doing nothing. It's just like, hey man, I need to borrow this right here, just hanging around, going to the mall. He paid for everything, but all of them, now, they all come out here, they think I'm a snitch.
I always got my own money when I knew how to go get it.
Would Thug give you money at times?
I'm not a handout type of person.
Okay.
Would Thug give you money at times?
I never asked Thug for no money.
Would Thug give you money at times?
I can't recall if he gave me money, but I never asked him for no money.
When you say he paid for everything, who are you referencing?
The big money, the ballers.
The ballers? I think you meant ballers. Ballish. Man, he is so beyond irritated. And Miss Hilton is struggling. It's because she's a checklist lawyer. Remember, we talked about this. I've talked about this on my live. I do not use a checklist. I have a general idea. I know.
Were you concerned that young Thug had washed his hands of you?
Huh?
Were you concerned because you have been speaking to police that Thug had washed his hands of you?
No. I didn't eat Thug.
All right. Do you recall telling the detective in the same interview on February 20th, 2015, he asked you, so basically Young Thug washed his hands of you? And your response, yeah, because I came and talked to the detectives and them folks in the street saying I'm a snitch, I'm a snitch, I'm a snitch. Nobody don't want to hang around me. I call my partners. They don't want to hang around me. It's like, what the hell? Where the hell all this come from? What the hell is going on? Do you recall telling the police that?
The police are so concerned about Thug, I was removing myself from him.
It's not fair how nice his skin is, guys. Look how nice his skin is. No blemishes. It's just so clear and clean and like all the same color. I wish I had smooth, beautiful skin like that.
Do you recall at all talking to this detective about what happened that Monday night at Club Crucial with you and Kel, the fight between you and Kel?
I don't recall nothing specific that me and him talk about outside of the shooting with my child.
Yeah, Alexis, she does a terrible direct. It's the checklist direct.
And I barely remember some of this stuff. You talking about some years ago when I don't even know what I did 3-4 days ago.
Robert, she's going to be asking him questions for weeks, I think. I don't know. Well into next week.
Do you recall telling your girlfriend, again, when the two of you were alone in the room?
How would she know that?
No matter which way it go, I'm going to lose anyway if I tell them that Tay did it. You recall having that conversation with your girlfriend?
You say it again?
Sure. Do you recall being alone in that same interview room with your girlfriend and you told her, no matter which way it go, I'm going to lose anyway if I tell them that Tay did it?
On my child life, once again, on Izari life, I never seen no one face that was in that car shoot at me. At any time, if they got out the car, to this point, I never knew who shot at me. So when that detective was asking me, I just had to come up with something. I got no reason to lie about it. I didn't see nobody who shot at me. So y'all going back into interrogation when I'm telling you the truth. I don't know who shot at me. I have told them I didn't know. When they gonna keep asking me, make me know, okay, cool. I'm gonna say, I'm done.
I don't know why
Do you
Alexis
recall
didn't
being
get denied.
hesitant in the February 21st interview, and we're going to get to that interview with Detective Gaither, when she showed you a photographic lineup? and you actually eventually pointed Tay out of a photographic lineup?
Because I know Gator. I mean, I know Gator. I know that. I mean, she one of the people that she got it out for me. So I didn't care. I was just trying to get them out for me, and trying to convince her. And trying to convince her is very hard to do.
It's
so
no surprise.
I had to go through with it. Even though in my heart, I knew that he didn't shoot at me, or he would have never shot at me.
Gaither seemed like the type. I'm not surprised to hear that he thought Gaither was targeting him. I'm really not. I believe that's truthful.
And to be more clear on it, before I went back to jail the last time, I was right around him. So I would never be nobody that I believe shot at me while I had my child.
Why did you say Tay did it versus anyone else?
First thing came to my mind.
Why was Tay the first person that came to your mind versus anyone else?
Why not?
Because in the midst of trying to convince the police so they could leave me alone, I just got shot at. Only thing was in my mind was, get back.
Yeah,
But
trying to make him
you
lie.
had a beef with Kel. Why not say it was Kel?
Because I had to convince them. I gotta make it seem. If I say Kel shot me, they're gonna how you know. How Kel know where you stay at? So I gotta come up with something to make them know. Okay, well, Tay been over here. You know what I mean? So okay, Tay. I don't know.
But
listen, you keep asking me. I told you I don't know who shot at me.
Why
Gaither
would
seemed like-
Gaither have been out for you?
I sustain the objection.
Well, you said she had it out for you. What makes you think she had it out for you?
I'll let him answer that question, I suppose.
You said she had it out for you. What makes you think she had it out for you?
Because she was trying her best to get me. She was trying to catch me.
Didn't she advise you
Welcome, Robert.
to leave town? But you're right, it's a contradiction, but
It's not a contradiction unless you have something to contradict it with.
That comes from the interview. Where's that come from? Where's that statement come from?
Yeah,
his interview with her.
Where is
I
that?
need to reference that old Rudy objection.
In your February 21st interview with her, did she ask you to leave town, go somewhere else, Cobb County, Clayton County? Did she tell you to lay low so that you wouldn't get killed?
What?
No, she was saying it because she's saying it. My name was she just said my name kept coming up a lot.
Right, so she did not want you to be harmed. So why would she have it out for you?
What? Objection.
During the course of that interview, was she encouraging you to lay low? Do you recall her doing that?
I thought she was faking. So I don't know.
Outside of the interviews, would you talk to Gaither? Would you call Gaither on the phone?
No. The only time I talked to Gaither is when she called, but it was never about nothing in the streets or nothing.
Right, so
it was, hey, Miss Copeland, your name involved in the shooting. We want you downtown. This only time she called me, hey, Miss Copeland, they say you shot up this person's house. We need you downtown. I don't recall me and her having no conversations about nothing.
when you were locked up, would you have your girlfriend call Detective Gaither for you so you can speak with her?
You heard where I was, right? Where was I? In jail?
So she had it out for you. Why are you trying to call Detective Gaither?
Because I'm trying to, all she got to do is give me a name. I'm going to try to convince her so she can get me out of jail.
But if she has it out for you, why would you trust Detective Gaither?
I don't trust her. I'm trying to play on her.
I want to go back very briefly to the interview that you did, the first interview you did with Detective Gaither. After your car was, at the time when your car got shot at, did you know about Lucci's mother's home being shot at?
What you mean?
Were you aware that Lucci's mother's home was shot at?
Huh?
When you met with Detective Gaither,
right,
about what happened on the highway, during that time period, were you aware of Lucci's mother's home being shot at?
No.
do you recall talking to Detective Gaither in that January 28th interview about Lucci's home being shot at?
I can't recall.
During that interview, do you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Lucci's mama and dad got shot, so Nick called Big Boo's phone, and we was at Big Boo's house?
Not Big Boo.
Do you recall telling him that?
I don't recall.
Let me ask you this. Do you recall independently being with Big Boo and Lucci's manager calling his house, calling his phone, trying to give him $20,000 to find out whoever shot up Lucci's mama's house?
Glenda, that is maddening, but at least it's not in writing.
Big Boo's house and someone from Lucci's manager calling Big Boo back in 2015.
I don't recall.
Sure.
Uh-oh, now they've approached. Oh, guys, wow. Wow, what a freaking morning already. I mean, I find Woody to be hilarious. His expressions, I think they're great. He cracks me up. You look, here's the thing. I believe that he was lying to the police. I believe he's probably lying now. I believe he's probably not very truthful on his day-to-day. Like, I imagine that truthfulness is not, his top priority. Survival is his top priority, right? I mean, he just said that. Gaither was out to get me. So I told her what I thought she needed to hear, Like, that happens all the time. It happens all the time when police are interrogating people because people just want to go home, and I've dated people who will just tell you what they think you want to hear. It's annoying as shit, but a lot of folks are out there living their lives just telling people what they think they want to hear. And as I recall, Gaither was kind of not the nicest, most desirable human being to be around. And I would not at all for 1 minute think that he's lying, that he just made some shit up to Gaither. And Danny said in the comments that Gaither is the one who mentioned Tay. And so if she mentioned him, he probably was thinking, oh, this is what she wants to hear. Let me just hear it. A lot of the times people kind of learn these skill sets when they're growing up. Like tell mom what she wants to hear and I'll get out of trouble. So what's going on? Are they sidebarring? YSL Grandpa's here today. I was mad at him last week when he didn't pipe up earlier. Cynthia, this trial is quite amusing. It's sad as shit that we're being amused at someone else's expense with their livelihood and their life on the line. But this is amusing. I mean, it's just it's a shit show. It's one bad move after another, and it's wild. CJ says, I think it's reasonable that Woody being a felon, he would say whatever it took to get out. That's exactly what I think, CJ. I mean, even not a felon, I know a lot of men who will say what they think you want them to hear. They're not even felons. Like, they just say what they think you want to hear because they think that's going to get them out of trouble. And so he really, I mean, he could. I just don't believe he was ever truthful with the police. And I don't believe he's truly being truthful here either.
Let's bring Mr. Copeland back in, please.
I'm wondering how much longer Woody's going to be on the stand, how many more days. Definitely into next week. I wonder how long cross-examinations will take.
Continuing ready.
It'll be interesting.
So I'll just ask you again. Back in 2015, do you recall being with Big Boo when Lucci's manager called him?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Dennis and Gaither in the January 28th interview, Lucci's mama and dad got shot, so Nick called Big Boo's phone. We was at Big Boo's house. And the first thing that nigga said was, hey Boo, Lucci's mom and dad got shot, somebody shot up his mama and dad. Somebody's house got shot up. It's $20,000. It's $20,000, man. It's 20 on their head, or whatever they said. And you heard that conversation.
I don't recall.
You shake your head yourself?
No.
Okay.
I don't know Jerome. I don't understand why he's like the key witness. I'm not really understanding. I don't know.
Would spend the most time outside of your family. Who are the people that you would spend the most time with?
Huh?
Back in 2015, outside of your family, who were your friends that you spent the most time with?
My friends.
Who? Yeah.
No.
I'm not about to name every single person.
So who are the people that you would spend the most time with?
I can't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you only keep a couple people around you, and it's really just Lil D and Shannon? Do you recall telling them that?
Probably so. I can't recall.
Then you also said sometimes Moonsoon, but he might come around, but not every day.
I don't recall.
I do think the Supreme Court is going to
And then you
dismiss
said,
this
I really
case.
have my, and you also further went to say, I really wouldn't want nobody around me but Lil D.
But I don't think it'll be dismissed with prejudice. I think they'll be able to retry it.
You rephrase.
Sure. Between Shannon and Lil D, who's the person you would have most around you?
My woman? My child?
Huh?
Wait, what?
Between Shannon and Lil D,
Oh, between.
who would you spend more time
Even
with?
I'm confused.
I can't. I don't know.
Do you recall telling Detective Dennis and Gaither that I wouldn't want nobody around but Lil D?
I probably said it because I was trying to run the play on them.
Okay.
But I don't remember what I said to them.
Back in 2015.
Anytime they question me, like I said, you keep asking me about what I supposed to told them. Anytime they question me, I just said whatever came to my mind or whatever I could have thought of in a split second. So I don't know. I don't know what I said to them.
Back in 2015, did you trust Lil D?
Say that again?
Back in 2015, did you trust Lil D?
No.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis, I really have my trust in him? Speaking about Lil D.
You said I really had my trust in him?
Yes.
No, man.
Legally, she should say, and I
Go
quote.
ahead.
And then Lil D ain't never going to turn his back on me.
I told you I'm trying to tell them whatever they would have went for. Cause yeah.
She should say, I quote, because otherwise the jury might think she's saying those things on her own. But we can't see the jury, so we don't know if she necessarily needs to see that. We don't know how they're responding.
That Lil D from Cleveland bought from you from the pawn shop. What kind of gun was that?
I can't recall.
Do you recall it being as...
I can't recall.
You don't know what type of gun a chopper is? Do you not know what type of gun a chopper is?
I don't know what I done told them.
I'm asking you separately. What kind of gun did Lil D purchase for you?
A rifle,
Okay. Is a rifle a chopper?
I guess.
The Supreme
Have
Court.
you ever had the occasion to give nuts back items that was stolen from him? Back in 2015 before he
The
passed.
Supreme Court is going to hear this case, and they will probably
First, who stole the items?
overrule it. It will not be with prejudice because they're going to allow it to be tried again.
You did take the items.
Yeah. I said I don't.
Did you tell me
You
that?
just asked me did I give it back to him. I gave it back to him.
Okay. My question is, do you know who stole it?
Huh?
Do you know who stole
Who stole it?
I told him a friend of mine stole it.
it? Did you tell me something differently?
I probably did.
Do you remember what you told me?
What did I tell you?
Do you recall what you told me?
I just asked you.
So do you not recall what you told me?
I told you I gave it back to him.
Do you recall telling me that you actually stole those items, but you did give it back to him?
Do you have an objection?
Yeah, I
Basis.
do. You're making yourself a witness. What he told her, yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't get to talk about what he told you.
Are you talking about the foundation for the question, or form of the question, or what?
Cynthia, don't be embarrassed by this man. This man is not representative of the entire black community.
Question, but I can clarify who all was in the room.
Yeah, why don't we do that? I'll sustain the question as to the current.
Do you recall meeting with me, investigator?
You don't sustain a question. You sustain an objection.
Investigator Long, maybe Investigator Lansico, and telling us in the room that it was you who stole it, but you did give the items back to him.
I can't recall.
When you gave the items back to him, do you remember where you were? Where did you meet him at?
In my neighborhood.
Okay. And was he with anyone when you met with him to give the items back?
I think so.
Do you remember who he was with?
I can't say who the people were there with him.
Do you remember him being with Reedy, his brother?
Probably so. I don't know.
Do you remember just telling the detectives in that January interview he was with Reedy, his brother?
I guess. I don't know. I can't recall.
Do you remember what type of car Donovan had? Oh, excuse me, Nut had.
A truck.
Do you remember what kind of truck?
It was just a truck.
Do you remember telling the detectives back in that January interview it was a green Tahoe?
Probably did. I don't know.
The double jeopardy comes into play when
Do you
there's
remember
been
what
a
the items were
conviction
that you gave back to
or
him?
the jury has made a decision.
Yeah, his
So in a case like this where there hasn't been a ruling and it's going to go to the Supreme Court and they're going to say it's a mistrial, then you get to retry it. It's like having a hung jury.
What you mean?
Do you remember what the necklace looked like? Do you remember what the chain looked like?
Yeah, it was a necklace.
Was it a peanut? Do you remember?
Oh, I think so. Oh yeah, I think it was a nut. Yeah, I don't.
If you don't remember, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Dab, it says a lot when your star witness admits openly that they're a liar. It's not a great witness. It's not a great star witness. Yeah, Cynthia, you should be mad. This is tax dollars being wasted right here. You know, this is tax
We just
dollars.
talked about who
Just
you were
down the
hanging
drain.
around with from Mechanicsville. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis back in 2015 that you're not going to see you hang with anybody besides Shannon and Dee, who was from Mechanicsville?
Shannon ain't from Canterville.
Do you remember?
I don't remember saying it.
And do you remember also telling the detectives that there's not going to be one time that you and Dee are not together?
I don't recall.
Yeah, Tavonda, I feel that. For me, I feel like Miss Love is a more
But it's not
negative
gonna be no time
representation.
that me, Dee, and Shannon is not together. Not just me and Dee.
We know idiots
So the
like
three of you will be together.
When me and Dee together, it's me, Dee, and Shannon.
Okay.
idiots like him exist in every race, but to perpetuate, you know, to let anyone think that he is an example of the entire race is totally incorrect. And Daryl, I'm with you. We have excellent judges in Dallas, and the majority of them are African American. It has nothing to do with anything. They're just hardworking folks, just like us. So I would not look at this man and allow him to shame an entire race. This guy is a criminal. He's a special kind of person.
We talked about briefly another interview that you did with Detective Gaither after you were arrested for probation, once your child and your child's mother was shot at. Do you remember that? All right. And do you remember meeting with Detective Gaither after you had gotten arrested?
No.
Sometimes the subtitles are hilarious, y'all. He's just like making a mockery out of these court proceedings, out of all of these questioning. Becca says he's an honest liar. Honestly, he's a liar. I mean, he's admitting that he's a liar. We know he's a liar. He can't be trusted. I don't know. I don't like it. Would you ever remain gangsta like Steele? Oh no, Trey. No. I am not anywhere near as cool as Steele. I'd probably just cry, honestly. I don't know how I would be. I get really angry, so it wouldn't have been a good look. It's not a good thing. I don't know. I think Alexis, she is trying to build a foundation, but I don't understand what foundation she's trying to build. I don't think it's working. Yeah, Nia,
when you met with Detective Gaither once you were arrested, as you discussed, were you upset that they arrested you for failure to comply with community service? I know you're shaking your head. You have to say yes or no for the record. Right. And during the course of that interview, where you asked to tell Detective Gaither about what happened with you, Deshaun, and your daughter?
I don't recall.
Do you recall in that interview also talking to her about Nut's murder?
I can't recall.
And during this interview, do you recall telling her that on the day that Nut was killed, you initially were at home at Deshaun's house?
That's why I was, but I don't recall what I told her.
And that she got a phone call from Little D.
I don't know.
We've already talked about where you were on the day that Nut passed away. Do you recall us talking about that over the course of the last few days?
No. He said he doesn't remember yesterday, guys.
Do you remember us talking about Nut's murder yesterday?
No. I don't remember yesterday.
When Nut passed away yesterday.
You said you asked me that yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she keeps calling him Thug and Nut, and she keeps calling everyone by their nickname, which is weird.
I guess.
Okay. If you don't remember, that's fine. Do you remember or no?
No, you didn't ask me yesterday.
Okay. Do you remember us talking about it since you've been on the stand, though?
Yeah, talking about what?
The day that Nut passed away.
Yeah, that's what it's about, right?
Okay, cool. You're on permission to approach?
As long as you show that to the defense counsel, please.
I'm with you, Code Heidi. I'm with you. I could watch Steele make those arguments. That man was a gangster. And no, I would not be able to do that. I'm not, I don't know. I yell too much. I'm too much of a yeller. You're right, Robert. I think she's trying to use the street names because he alluded to the idea that do you know Donovan Thomas? He'd say, well, what's his street name? So maybe she's trying to like carry on the street names for his sake to like help him understand. But it seems a little odd. And, you know, that's why I wanted to go in August. Our trial is going to even last till August once the Supreme Court gets its hands on it. But that is why I wanted to go, because I wanted to be able to see like how everyone is reacting to her. And y'all, my internet is not happy with me today. Oh my goodness, the internet is mad at me. Alexis, no, he cannot go down for his perjury because he now has immunity.
Yankee D1. Do you see yourself in that picture?
It looked like a movie, I know. Like a bad movie.
I guess.
Does it look like you?
I guess.
Yes or no? Is that you?
If you say it's me, it's me.
I'm asking you, is it you?
If you say it's me, I say.
Yeah, I guess. Yes, it's me.
And is that Detective Gabriel?
He's like a man.
Do you recognize that to be Detective Gabriel?
No, I can't tell if it's. I can't tell for real.
Was this?
He said that looks like a man.
You are permission to.
About it. I don't understand what's going on. Maybe the internet knows it's Friday and it's been a long week. Maybe the internet's as tired as we all are. Tired of Glenville's bullshit. While we wait, I'm Lauren Cadillac. I'm an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I do mainly real estate, which is quite litigious. So I am a courtroom attorney. I'm a litigator. I watched this case. I started watching this case because it has some First Amendment right implications. They're going to use lyrics against, I was going to say Mr. Thug, after Jeffrey Williams. And that's how I got here. Yeah, Draws TV, they granted immunity, and now he's saying, I don't know, all the time. And they shouldn't have given immunity. He should have just let him take his damn Fifth Amendment right and not testify. But my understanding is this is like pretty much their whole case. Like, this guy is the crux of the case. CJ, I don't know that we're even going to get to jury instructions, if I'm honest. I think when the Supreme Court reviews Steele's appeal, they're going to read the ex parte transcript, and if something went on that we all think went on, they're going to call a mistrial. That's my prediction. My prediction is there's not going to be a trial in August. This is going to end sooner than later. That's my prediction.
Are you able to tell me that is?
Yeah, that's her.
That's her?
Yeah.
Does it appear to be the same individual in the picture that I have in front of you?
I'm going to take a comfort break. I'll be right back.
It looked like the same picture.
You're right. This time the state would like to tender Stacey Bill 378 Yankee Delta 1.
Any objection to states 378 Yankee Delta 1? Hearing none, it's admitted, may be published as you see fit.
Thank you. Mr. Kearns, can you enable share? And if you could bring it down, no, down. And just fall out. Thanks.
I have returned from my comfort break. Mike, we don't know exactly what happened.
Are you able to see the dates and the time of that interview?
In the ex parte, but we're going to find out eventually.
Yeah, right now.
What is the date and time of that interview?
February 21,
Okay. And what year is that?
2015.
Now, during this interview, do you remember anyone else being in the interview room with you? Do you recall Detective Thorpe was in there with you?
I don't know.
Okay. And during that interview, do you recall talking to Detective Gaither again about what happened between you, Deshaun, and your baby?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. And during that interview, did Detective Gaither also ask you who shot at you. Do you remember Detective Gaither asking you about that?
I don't remember.
CJ, the Supreme Court is going to hear the contempt charge, but the contempt charge comes out
Do you remember being concerned in that interview about being labeled a snitch?
Comes out of a motion having to do with the ex parte communications. So the ex parte communications are going to come in during the, they're going to be seen by the Supreme Court, period. And when the Supreme Court sees them, and that they were in fact ex parte, they're going to have to stop the trial because it is reversible error, and therefore they know the trial cannot go on.
Do you remember telling her, if I tell you anything, guess what happens? That make it even worse. What makes it worse? Everybody, oh, now I'm a snitch. And remember her asking how you a snitch when somebody was trying to kill you and your baby. How was that snitching?
Okay. If there was the truth, why would I wait till later or at any point and say anything to the police? It's self-explanatory.
What is self-explanatory?
The whole thing. You seen her tonight, what I told to the investigator. And I was so concerned about being labeled a snitch. So why would I tell them the truth to anything if they trying to say I'm concerned about being labeled a snitch?
Case closed.
So if I'm going to tell them something that sooner or later going to get out in the streets, why would I be concerned about being labeled a snitch? It doesn't make sense.
Do you recall being reluctant to tell the detectives who it was?
No, I was trying to buy time to come up with something to tell them so they can get up off me or let me out of jail.
Okay, he's already said that. Tall Glass, send me that affidavit. I haven't been able to find it.
The interview that you had on February 20th. What time was your interview on February 20th, 2015? What time did that
This paper?
Yeah, what time does that say?
What about it?
What time is it on here?
1:41.
What, AM or PM?
No, thank you, legally employed. I appreciate it.
Detective Gaither.
Well, look like I got on the right street outfit, so I didn't meet with her. And it say 3:53.
On February 21st?
Yeah,
Is that PM?
PM.
So did you meet with Detective Gaither the next day after you met with the first investigator?
Yeah,
Prof Guy, everything the Fed does is airtight.
that's what they say.
Tony, there's already been mistrial.
So if you just wanted to make something up,
it's
did
just
you
a matter
have
of
time to make up a new name if it wasn't Tay?
He's been on the stand 6 days
in order
now.
to convince her. I got to, whatever I tell her, I got to stick with it.
Stick with it.
Wouldn't you want to tell Gaither the truth if you were trying to get out of jail?
No.
If you were trying to get out of jail, wouldn't you tell her the truth?
But if she asks me about something that I don't know and I'm trying to get out of jail, I gotta act like I know.
Did you ever try just telling the truth to get out of jail?
No. Why wouldn't he do that? That had never crossed his mind. Are you
Probably.
kidding me?
I don't know what I don't told her, so I can't remember what I told her, so I don't know.
How bad did you want to get out of jail?
I want to get out of jail.
So wouldn't you want to tell the truth to get out of jail versus lying?
Objection.
Yeah.
Objection.
How are you going to overrule it? She's asked him twice now.
Wouldn't you want to tell the truth to get out of jail?
But if they ask me who shot at me, and I didn't see nobody shoot at me, and they
Sorry, guys. Fidgeting around.
constantly thinking that I seen somebody shoot at me, and I keep telling them I didn't see nobody shoot at me, they don't want to believe me, so what I got to do then? And if I feel like this is the only reason I'm going to jail, I got to stick to what I don't tell her.
So why tell your girlfriend that? When no police are in the room.
I don't know.
Why tell your girlfriend that?
I don't know. I don't recall me sitting there just telling her that. I don't even understand how his name even came about from the start.
Thank you, Tall Glass. I appreciate. Yeah, Tony, this is gonna be a great.
I just know once I heard Tay, that's why I just stuck with Tay. I don't know if I brought it up. Which I doubt I brought it up because I didn't have no reason to bring your name up.
How would the police know who Tay was?
I don't know.
how would the police know Tay was even in your neighborhood at the time?
I don't know.
So why would the police bring up Tay?
I don't.
Then I said, I don't know.
Answer.
I sustain the objection.
Please bring it up, Tay, because he's a target of theirs. Because the police have chosen people they want to arrest and make a case about. Oh, thank you, John, for tagging me on Twitter. I will try to figure out how to log in.
Do you recall providing Detective Gaither a picture of Tay before ever even getting into the interview room?
What?
No.
Do you recall during the interview when you told her it was Tay, you told her, I gave you a picture of him?
I don't recall.
And do you recall her pulling up the picture and showing you the picture in the interview on her phone?
I recall her showing me a picture of him.
Oh.
And do you recall not really wanting to point him out on there?
Because I knew at that point what she was doing. They was forcing me to say it was him who shot me. Because I like I keep telling you now, and to this day I still feel as if they did that. Like I never seen him shoot at me. Even when they called me, tried to get me to come to trial on it, I told them I'm not coming to trial because I never saw who shot at us. And they said, well, Mr. Copley, all right, y'all can call me. I didn't see who shot at me.
Were you concerned about being labeled a snitch because of what was happening to your cousin?
My only concern was not being able to protect my family.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you were concerned because your cousin was being tortured because he was labeled a snitch?
My only concern was being in jail and not able to protect my family.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither, in referencing your cousin, well, he's getting tortured. Everywhere he goes, he's a fucking rat. Don't nobody want him around. This and that. Wow. And then he turned right around. And I'm in the same damn shoes he's in. But I won't. I don't know if he did whatever he had going on, but you didn't want to be labeled a snitch.
This is the police talking to me, and they're not trying to hear what I'm saying. They're trying to force me to say that somebody shot at me that I did not see shoot at me. I am trying everything in my power to not allow this man.
F. Cherry, I hope that the Supreme Court hears it before the 25th, but I don't know how likely it is. I really don't know how backlogged
I'm not going to
it is.
protect nobody that shot at me and my child.
I agree, Mike. The prosecution's looking pretty bad right now.
Did you ever give Gaither the gun that you used in the to shoot back at those individuals who shot at you and your child?
No.
What?
Why not?
Because you're going to use it against me.
Who did you get the gun from?
What you mean, who I got it from?
Who did you get the gun from?
She's already asked this. We know he got it from his friend. His friend bought it for him. We learned that yesterday. Why are we still talking about this shit? What a waste. Crazy. None of this even makes a lick of sense to me. What does this have to do with a game?
Lineup with Tay inside of the photographic lineup?
Say that again?
In this interview, do you recall being shown a photographic lineup?
I think so.
Okay. And do you recall not wanting to sign the photographic lineup?
Right. I do remember.
Okay. Why didn't you want to sign the photographic lineup?
Because in my heart and from facts, I didn't see who shot at me, and they constantly kept trying to say they kept pushing me to make me think that I saw somebody I know I didn't see.
All right, I want to kind of switch gears. Do you know someone by the name of Trivia?
Who?
Trivia.
Thank God we're switching gears.
Who is it?
Jesus. I mean, I feel like he sounded truthful in that last sentence.
Do you know who Moon Tung's girlfriend was back in 2015?
Who?
No, I don't remember who his girlfriend is.
Okay. Do you know someone by the name of Antrevia?
I never heard of the name before. I don't know.
Okay. Do you recall talking to a Detective Lewis in the same interview regarding Trivia being Kel and Moon Tung's girlfriend?
Oh, her? What about her?
So my question is, do you now know who Trivia is?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Okay.
Sorry, Lonnie.
And back in 2015, do you recall her home being shot up during the time of early 2015?
Because, Gene, they have the video. They don't need reports, they have the video.
And were you accused of shooting up her home?
That's what she told the police.
Monk Funk or whatever you said.
No.
And how does that have to do with this? Where are we going with this? Yes, Lorraine, the state's star witness is in fact a criminal. Oh my God, y'all. I'm surprised we haven't had any breaks yet, if I'm honest. We've been going for a whole 30 minutes now? Not a single break?
In the 3 interviews we've talked about so far, were you asked by the investigators to tell the truth? In the interviews we've talked about so far?
It don't matter.
Yes or no? Do you recall being asked to tell the truth?
I don't know. I don't
God
recall.
bless you. God bless you. You don't recall if you were asked to tell the truth?
I don't.
If you were asked to tell the truth, why wouldn't you tell the truth in those interviews?
Why wouldn't I tell the truth?
Yes.
Because I know the police are trying to lock me up.
Exactly. He's explained that 10 times,
What would they be trying to lock you up for?
I'm reading the Weinstein affidavit.
What would they be trying to lock you up for?
Whatever they can put on me.
Did you ever?
Okay, 1C is this main courtroom. All right, so good. At least Glenville's doing the show cause in this courtroom.
Would telling the truth have gotten you locked up?
Huh? Understand the question.
Now, in June of 2015, were you arrested for having a gun at the Dunbar Recreation Center?
Say that. Can you say that again?
In June of 2015, were you arrested for having a gun in the Dunbar Recreation Center?
In June, was I arrested?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Can you tell the jurors what occurred in the Dunbar Recreation Center?
I was playing basketball. The police came there and locked me up.
And why did the police lock you up?
Because I'm Woody.
Did you have a gun at the Dunbar Recreation?
I had a basketball in my hand.
Was there a gun also at the Dunbar Recreation Center?
They say it was.
Where was that gun located?
I was placed in handcuffs while I don't know.
Did you have a gun inside of an H&M bag while at the Dunbar Recreation Center?
I was in the recreation center playing basketball. Had my shirt off with no gun on me playing basketball.
Did you take a gun to the Dunbar Recreation Center in H&M?
I was playing basketball in the Dunbar Recreation Center.
So you know that you did not have a gun after?
But I'm saying, well, I was playing basketball. When I looked up, I seen a whole bunch of police in there walking towards me, putting my hand behind my back, and asked me, was it bad mines? I said, I don't know nothing about no bad. They took me to the car. There was a whole lot more police that came. They took me from Mechanicsville to Turnerfield and asked me, was there a gun mine or was there bag mine? I told them I don't know nothing about nothing. They said, if they find out that their gun or their bag was mine, they're going to come back and lock me up. I said, do your job. They let me go. And that was it.
And did they let you go that first day?
They let me go.
All right. Did they eventually arrest you for that gun in that bag?
They did.
All right. And was that the gun that was purchased by Quindarius Zachary for you?
I guess.
Yes, no, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I went to jail for.
Okay. So that was the gun, the chopper that we talked about earlier.
No, it's a chop up.
I'm overrule the objection. That was Mr. Steele, asked and answered.
Was that the chopper that we discussed earlier?
We discussed this earlier?
The gun that was recovered, is that the chopper that was purchased at Arrowhead Pawn Shop by Quindarius Zachary?
That's the gun that sent me to the feds.
And is that the gun that was found at Dunbar Recreation Center?
How would he know?
I guess so.
Why did you have the gun at Dunbar Recreation Center?
I just plead guilty to it.
Did you tell officers that you were trying to sell that gun, and that's why you had it at the Dunbar Recreation?
Again, I was going to jail.
Ms. Hilton, before you posit some other questions, I think we probably need to take a comfort break.
Okay, here it comes. Here's the
ladies and
comfort.
gentlemen,
Oh
let's
my
take about
God.
10 minutes and see
I
what
mean,
happened.
you guys, we went like a whole 35 minutes there.
All right.
That's crazy, crazy. Okay, so while Woody was just testifying, I read the affidavit attached to Weinstein's motion that we looked at from 2 days ago, I think. And it is damaging. All right, motion to recuse, blah, 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 law, law, words, 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 words. Okay, now, here is where we get into, I mean, this, let's do this. Okay. Now, remember, Weinstein's an officer of the court, so he's not going to lie. He might lie, but he's not supposed to lie, okay? And if he's making an affidavit as an officer to the court, if you're making a sworn affidavit to present to the court, typically it's going to be lie-free, okay? All right, so he says defense counsel were present at 9. There's this ex parte with Love, Hilton, and Fulton County officers, deputies, and then it's meant to say sworn witness Kenneth Copeland and Copeland's attorney. No member of the defense was available. No member of the defense was aware. Then between 11 and 11:30, Glenville says, okay, Copeland's ready to testify. At that time, Steele presents his motion. Copeland briefly testified and continued. Okay, so here we get into what we believe, or what Weinstein believes happened in that meeting. Copeland announced that he would evoke his Fifth Amendment right and not testify, which he is allowed to do. It's a Fifth Amendment right. He has a right to do it. All right, let me make it bigger here. Copeland stated he would sit in jail for 2 years rather than testify. Fair enough, right? Glenville informed Copeland that Glenville would keep Copeland incarcerated until additional defendants were tried, not just the 6 currently on trial. I don't think that's legal. I don't know. I do not have Georgia law memorized, but I don't think that you can do that. Love and Hilton informed Copeland that there were still a dozen defendants left to try, and I believe that's a lie. I don't think there's still a dozen left to try. Out of the 28 indicted, we have 22 that are not in the courtroom. I know I know like at least 10 of them. Well, maybe there are over a dozen left to try. I don't know. I don't think that's right. Okay. Upon information and belief, following the above coercive actions by Glenville in conjunction with one or more attorneys, Copeland stated at the ex parte that he would testify. Okay, so after they coerced him, they threatened him, he said, okay, I'll testify. The judge also presented Copeland with a printout of the perjury statute and the false statement statute of the state of Georgia. I feel like that's a little bit of pressuring, but it's borderline. Okay. Now, it starts to get really concerning to me. It's kind of concerning, but it gets really concerning after this. Copeland stated to Hilton that if called to testify, he would simply lie on the stand. All right. When we as attorneys know that a witness has announced that they're only going to lie on the stand, they plan on lying on the stand, we have to tell the judge, and the judge is then supposed to somehow limit their testimony. The judge is supposed to do something about it, and you have an ethical duty to not put them on the stand if you're aware they're just going to get on the stand and lie. Okay, so here's a real problem here. Follow-up to a real problem is Hilton stated she would not prosecute if he were to lie on the stand. Copeland stated to ADA Hilton that he would state that he killed Donovan Thomas Jr., aka Nut. So he said, okay, on the stand I'm going to say I'm the murderer. And Hilton says that if he states that he killed Donovan, she would prosecute him for perjury. My understanding is the murder of Donovan Thomas has not been solved, that nobody is actually serving time, and there's been no adjudication of that crime. So how would that be perjury? I don't know. Let's see. During court on the afternoon of June 10th, when more and one of the allegations were presented to the court, Glenville denied that one or more of the events were related to him were accurate. I don't recall him denying that. I remember him saying that someone parroted him. I remember hearing a lot. But I do not remember hearing a denial. I don't know. Are there 30 YSL cases to go that are in this indictment? I mean, that seems crazy to me. That is crazy to me. Sunday Dollar, hi, how are you? I'm glad you made it today. They are in session today, and that's what we were just watching right now. It's funny how the judge comfort break as stated bring up damning point in favor to stick in the jury's mind. It does seem that the comfort breaks are very much timed with the state. I noticed that too. Snapshots, none of the RICO charges have been proved yet. The state is still presenting their case. Let's see. Thank you, Taffy. Thank you, Willie. Everyone that says I'm beautiful, I really appreciate it. Let's see. The judge needs to go through, she was crying because her, I don't know, Tavonda, I don't know if she was crying because her career is over. I don't know that she actually saw the motion or the affidavit. We don't know that. Who knows? Nut was a member of the rival gang. Snapshot. Okay. She did ask him if he did it, and he said no 2 days ago. I remember that, Chan. But apparently in that meeting, the meeting that we've all been wanting to know about, the ex parte meeting, apparently he said he was going to accept responsibility for Nut's murder, and then was completely threatened with further contempt and many years in jail if he did not, in fact, testify. So, while we're on this break, it is pretty late in the afternoon, and I do actually have some work to get to that isn't related to this. So I thank you all for being here. This has been excellent. I'll continue to watch this afternoon. I will be back next Friday. Of course, if something exciting happens and I'm not in court or I'm not with a client or whatever it might be, I will hop on just like I did on Monday. If you want to know more about appeals and how they work, I have a video about that. Please, if you need an attorney in Dallas, Texas, it's Cadillac Law, and our number is 972-845-1200. Thank you everyone who has liked. Thank you everyone who has subscribed. Thank you everyone who has sent a super sticker, everyone who has done a Cash App donation, pretty much everyone. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you. I always have so much fun when we're hanging out, and I will see you all next week. So have a great weekend, y'all. I'll see you next week.